Hey, shalom, na'ava, but not na'ava, daughter of Yahweh, Kwam Yashala. Shalom, my Kwati, how is Shamalata? I pray all is well in the city gates of St. Louis. How is everything? All right. We know that you're a diligent sister. You know, you always expressing and showing those beautiful garments that you be making. You're a wonderful garment maker. All praise the Most High. Let me put down these pens. I'm jittering these pens around like I got Tourette syndrome to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th degree, right? But yeah, shalom to you, Aqua. I appreciate you, Tawada. Double honors to your father, double honors to your mother. Hey, shalom. Hey, my brother. Hey, my brother, Adrian Tillman. All right. How you pronounce your name? Yishai. How you pronounce your name? Can you please tell me? All right. Show me the correct vernacular pronunciation of your name. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, you'll get a much better video if you switch over to YouTube. Okay. You'll get a much better video presentation if you switch over to YouTube. Okay. Oh, that's it. Oh, I said it right. All praise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's wonderful. All praise. So, this might be kind of a lengthy video. I don't know, but I do know this week's Torah portion is one of my favorites. Okay. As you all see, I'm actually in the studio, man. I'm down here in the MYMG studio. All right. So this is where, check this out. This is where I'm gonna be broadcasting from today. Certified from home. All right. Loudmouth Gentile. So I'm gonna be broadcasting from down here tonight. And the reason being is because your brother is Tama'ah. Your brother is set apart. And for those of you who know me, I do like to teach a higher standard of Yasha'Allah principles, of the principles that the Most High gave us, you know. And this is for the men and for the women. If the women have to be set apart when they're unclean, then guess what? You men of Israel, it's the same thing. When we are Tama'ah, when we are unclean, we have to be set apart also. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, please switch over to YouTube. We have the YouTube camera up and going. We have the YouTube up. Hey, shalom, aliyah Shabbat. Shalom, family that's watching on YouTube. Yahweh Shamar Arlathan. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Ra'ash wan I rab. Okay, so y'all say shalom to the family that's watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, please send the link down to the Facebook so that they can get on. And it's so funny because on the Facebook camera, the camera's facing down and I got this white ceiling above my head, so you can actually see how frizzy my locks is. But on the YouTube camera, it looked like I got the blah blah blah, the blah blah. But on the Facebook camera, I look like who did it and why, brother? The sister said, Na'ava, Yasha'Allah. She said, Khan, all is well. I pray all is well with you and the family as well. The Wada Yahweh. All praise the Wada Yahweh for you too, Akwath. All right. Keep enduring to the very end. All right. Endure to the very end that you might get your reward. Okay. There are many scriptures that talk about righteous sisters. Okay. There's many scriptures that talk about righteous sisters. Okay. So you daughters of Israel, man, y'all keep enduring to the end, because that's when we get our reward. You know, the Most High can reward us while we're in the midst of our growing, our process, our going through. You know, he can, absolutely. But our reward comes in the end. So for all the family members that's watching on Facebook, if you see me looking upward, it's because the YouTube camera's on here. Okay. So switch to YouTube. Okay. So you all can get the full effect. All right. So the Facebook camera is only gonna last for so long. Once the phone dies, it's over with. But the YouTube camera, it's on my laptop and it's plugged up, so it won't be dying anytime soon. So let's get to it real quick. Let me get a 7 in the room if y'all can hear me okay. Aliyah Shabai, Ra'ashwan Irab. All right, where's Lumadia? He should be on here too. Where's all my mashpachah? Where's all my family? All right, and then also remember, when you come over to the YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up, you know, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, y'all see, I probably got like 7 subscribers on my YouTube or something like that. You know, but hey, Dawad Ortiz. All right, okay, all praise. Yo, Dawad, remember the YouTube, the Facebook is only to let people know that we're currently teaching on YouTube. So I'm telling you, bro, you get so much better, you know, visual and everything, you know, with you watching on YouTube, because, you know, we do the screen share. The Facebook is just like a calling card, I guess, you know. So, man, what a crazy week YHWH had. Boy, crazy week on Facebook, right? Crazy week in Facebook worlds, all right? Man, we got it's a lot going on, man. The YouTube address is the same as my name. It's Isaiah YHWH, okay? Okay, all praise. Look at this. Look at that for you, Ak, man. The sister, she just pinned the YouTube up here. So all you gotta do is hit that, brother. All right, hit that, Baba Kusha. All right, Baba Kusha, please. And TAWADA, thank you, sister. All praise. Adrian, all right. All praise, all praise. Shalom, Kwame Yasharala, TAWADA for the hearts, man. Appreciate that. Remember, the heart is the symbol for abortion. So I really don't support abortion. And I'm really like picky. So I'll be like, don't send me no hearts. But then I'll tell you why. I'll say, don't send me no hearts. You know, a thumbs up is 100 billion fulfill, you know, all that good stuff. So make sure y'all switch over to the YouTube so y'all can see. All right, I'm not gonna get started on the YouTube until I get a sufficient number of viewers in the YouTube. And then once I see all those viewers, Shalom, LaMadia, TAWADA for the 7. Then we'll go ahead and get it started. And the reason being is because I want to do the screen share. Okay. Hey, Shalom, I appreciate that. TAWADA, appreciate that. All right, Ben Yakonin. All right, appreciate that. Azariah, Shabbat Shalom. All right, make sure y'all look at that. Shabbat Shalom, man. I appreciate that. That's real love of you, brother. That's very sincere and very loving of you. All right. Hey, and again, make sure y'all click that link. That's thumbnailed on there that our sister Nava put on there. It's the YouTube. All right. Khan Thawadi Hawa. So everybody can join in. All right. So those of you that know me know again that I try to do a good standard of this truth. And if I am, you know, to be set apart, I'll set myself apart. No questions asked. You know, I'll be feeling kind of sad because I'll be like, oh man, I can't play with the rest of the Israelites during Sabbath playtime, you know. But also I feel good about it because it's like I know that, hey, you know, I'm setting the standard. You know, if you're not gonna set the standard for teaching Israel how to be set apart, how to be to teach that we should adhere to the law, statutes, commandments to the very end. All right. At least you will be able to know, like, hey, I know a sister, I know a brother, you know, I know a family, a community who are very much are sticklers for the Torah, and we're sticklers for the Torah. All right. Remember, that's why we got sold into slavery captivity in the first place. Our family, our nation, our culture went away from HaTorah. All right. Militant preacher. Shalom to you, militant preacher. All right. God, in the name of the Messiah, Yahweh, Yehoshua, Yeshaya, all right, whatever pronunciation you want to use, all right, Jesus Christ, all right, bless you, all right, Fritz Foxwell, all right, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Brakatah, Wakalamash Bukaka, and all your family. So that's why we're doing a set apart, you know, I'm doing a set apart video. Again, I hate this angle, but I have to have like my camera down here for the Facebook, man. Like if I set it up here, it'll look tacky and it'll fall over and stuff, man. Like, it's all weird. Like I can't do it. See? So I got to set it down there for now. I guess that's okay, right? That's okay, right? We can do that. Okay. All right. Shalom, James Everett. Shalom. What's everybody think about how this past week has been on the Yahoo? Okay. Shalom. Shalom, Mishpakot. All praise. Appreciate that. I receive shaloms and shaloms. I take them all, brother. I appreciate that. All right. So what do y'all think about this last week Facebook worlds? Facebook was crazy last week, wasn't it? Man. Oh, yo. Recently, I don't know if a lot of you, I'm pretty sure a lot of you caught wind of it. There was a murder that happened, brother, man. Well, actually, it wasn't a murder. Actually, it wasn't a murder because the victim didn't die, so it wasn't a murder, but it was like attempted murder. In YHWH, bunch of doctrinal differences. That's gonna happen forever. Listen. Let me explain something to y'all. Shalom to everybody watching on YouTube, everybody watching on Facebook. Make sure you switch over to that good old YouTube camera. All right, so y'all we can read the Torah together. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read it off of the screen, and it's gonna be a safe environment for your household. Okay. No profanity. I'm not going to be flipping, and I'm not going to be beefing against other Israelites. Those things are for the 6 days of the week. But when the Shabbat comes, I drop all my issues, all my contentions. I'm not going to talk to you about if the earth is round or if the earth is flat. I'm not going to talk to you about if Miriam was a virgin or if she was, because she was a virgin. All right. That's something everybody should know. All right. She was a virgin, but I'm not going to talk to you about if Joseph did or didn't have sex with her. On the Shabbat, we're going to learn about the Torah portion. All right. This week's Torah portion. What did the Most High command us to learn? He commanded us to learn his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Did he command us to be breakdown physicians? I'm going to be the breakdown detectives. No, he didn't command us to do that. All right. He commanded us to learn his laws, his statutes, his commandments, his ways of living. All right. He said, Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this wise, it is because there is no light in them. Okay. And you can find that in the book of Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20. One of my favorite prophecies, man. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20, to the law and to the testimony. So we have to be speaking according to both. If you're not speaking, listen, I don't care how much you say, I love the Lord. The Lord knows my heart. I don't care how much you say that. You are lying and deceiving yourself. You are only deceiving yourself. Okay. If you think that, oh, the Lord know my heart and I'm just here and I'm just going to do good. All right. I'm just going to do good and he's going to love me. It don't work like that. We got to be obedient, keep his law, statutes, and commandments. And then he'll start to look at us. Then he'll start to perceive us. Okay. Like I know a lot of Israelites that grow their beards out, but they'll take clippers and they'll shave down or they'll every day, every week, they'll edge up. I got to edge up. I got to edge up. Well, brother, the Most High said, thou shalt not mar, which is destroy, or round the corners of thy head, thy beard. This is my natural edge up. This is my natural. This is my natural, you know. So don't be ashamed of the Most High's law, statutes, commandments. Don't be ashamed of being who the Father made you to be. All right. And don't be ashamed of being obedient to him, because that's the only thing that's going to hold us together in these last days to come. When everything is going nuts and people are going insane and the world is falling down around us, as we already see it happening, the only thing that's going to keep us tight knit straight is going to be the Most High's law, statutes, commandments. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're doing good on YouTube. Hey, everybody that's on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. You know, y'all know I only got 4 subscribers on YouTube. All right. So be sincere, man. Shalom, amath banyam yan YHWH. All right, I see you on YouTube, okay? If you're on Facebook, switch over to YouTube. So we're about to get ready to start reading. All right, that's what we've been doing. We've been getting ready. So we're about to start reading this week's Torah portion. We will be reading the Torah portion, all right, the law portion. Now, for those of you that are new to the Torah portion, let me explain to you, all right? Every Shabbat, Masha would read the law to us. Masha read the law to us all day, all night. He would stand up and read the instructions of the Most High. So the laws of the Father was embedded in us, okay? Ezra, when we got sold into slavery and captivity, Ezra would stand up and read the laws of the Most High. I don't understand these Negroes who want to prove something to you to make you think that they're a better teacher to you because they want to teach breakdowns on the Shabbat. Negro, you had 6 days a week. You had 6 days a week to teach these people breakdowns. And you failed miserably because when the Shabbat came, you didn't teach the lost sheep of the house of Israel the Most High's commandments. When we go to the so-called New Testament, all right, when we go to the gospel portion of the Bible, we find out that our Messiah, our King, Yahushua, Yehoshua, Yeshaya, Jesus, for those who are still, learning, we see that he did what? We see that he went into the synagogue on the Shabbat day as his custom was. Okay? It was the master's custom to go to the Shabbat day. How do we know it was his custom? Because when he was a pitney, when he was a little, what they say, a little short legger, when he was a baby brew, okay? When he was knee high to his father's fringes, his mother's fringes. Because remember, the master wore fringes. Fringes are commanded throughout all of SHaLAch. When the master was knee high to his father and to his mother's fringes, he did what? He was found teaching in the synagogues. He kept Passover. All right. So as his custom was when he was a pitney, when YHWH was a child. All right. Shalom, Akwath, Aina, YHWH. Keep teaching the sisters, man. You're doing wonderful. YHWH. Yo, Aina, man. Meet us over on YouTube. Okay. Come over to the YouTube, hit the 7 over there, subscribe, all of that good stuff. All right. We're going to start on the screen share here. Okay. And what I'm talking about right now, Akwath, Aina, is how our elders failed us because they want to try to prove that they're good teachers by teaching us breakdowns when they really should be teaching us the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. That's what Israelite teachers should be doing. Every Israelite community, camp, school, congregation, I don't want to hear your breakdown this Sunday on another Negro. I don't want to hear that. And I'm pretty sure you Israelites don't want to hear it either. I know y'all tired of the gossip. Now, y'all know me. I get on Facebook. I'll be like, ah, you incorrect. Bow, 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 bow. Here's the right answer. But when the Shabbat comes, my principle is to read to you the laws of Yahweh. This is what you haven't heard all week. Okay? You've seen the breakdowns. You've heard the breakdowns. We broke down from hearing breakdowns. Let me hear the words of my people. What did my people go through? All right. And I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Right now, there's a lot of witchcraft going through Israel. Witchcraft starts out of the mouth. Witchcraft starts out of the mouth. And I'm telling y'all, we got a lot of people that's performing and involved in witchcraft and YHWH. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, switch over to YouTube. The sister Na'avah, YHWH, she put the link down there. All you got to do is hit that button, hit that link. It'll take you to the YouTube. When we start the screen share, you're going to want to read it. Now, how do I defend myself from witchcraft and YHWH? I stay in the word. I'm telling you, I like playing the video game. I ain't gonna stunt. I like the game. I got gamer thumb knuckles. See look, these are I got gamer knuckles. I can't make a free throw for nothing. I can't make a 3-point, but boy, oh boy, don't get me on no Mortal Kombat. We're gonna have some problems. I can literally sit there and play the game, and while I'm playing the game, my eyes is doing this, but I'll be listening to scriptures. I'll get off of the game. I'll go and open up my book. I'll be like, man, what was that one thing I heard? Let me go to this history. Let me go to this Bible. And this is what we have to do. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, please switch over. If you're watching on Facebook, switch over to YouTube, okay? So we're going to do what the master did, and we're going to read the law, statutes, and commandments. This week, we've seen a lot of witchcraft happening in Israel. And guess what? This week, we're dealing with witchcraft in the Torah portion. Does anybody know what the name of a male witch? What's the name of a male witch? What's a male witch called? I heard a couple people say it. I heard a couple of y'all say it because I know y'all's voices. All right. I heard a couple people say it. If you know the name of a male witch, type it in. Okay. But let me tell y'all something. No matter what witchcraft comes at you. Amen. Amen. That's one answer. Let me get 2 more answers. The scripture says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. All right. If you know the name of a male witch, what's the name of it? And again, if you're watching on Facebook, you really shorten yourself. Come to YouTube so you can get more, so you can be more fulfilled in this edification. So let me get 1 more answer. All right. Shalom, Cherie. All right. YHWH, Most High bless you. So Shalom, Diana Bond, Amazaquan. That's right. So the name of a male witch is called a warlock. And if you didn't know, warlocks are real. Witches are real. You got to be careful what you studying. You got to be careful what you reading. You got to make sure that you go and read. There you go. There go them answers we looking for. Warlocks. That's right. The name of a male witch is a warlock. And warlocks are real. Witches are real. All right. I'm not teaching some strange doctrine. I'm teaching y'all what I've studied, what I know to be true. Because some of us and our own family members have warlocks. Men and women that perform witchcraft out of their mouths, that profess curses, just want to try to hurt your feelings. I can't beat you up, but I'm going to say something that's going to hurt your feelings so bad, it's going to change your emotions, and it's going to make you have an influx in your feelings, and it's going to make you go and start behaving like this. Now, I done manipulated you. I done did witchcraft on you. I'm a warlock. See? Not me. Let one of them brothers that scoping, they're going to take that clip and they're going to see, we got him. The brother TAZATHYATH, he said it right there. And it's going to be like, I'm a warlock.
I'm a war, and they go like dub it over and over, right? You know how Israel do, right? But that's not gonna happen because I don't got no enemies, man. but yeah, man. So some of us have witches and warlocks in our families right now. All right. And we see witchcraft going through Israel right now, and all of the things that's being professed out of the mouth. Okay. Maybe sometime during this week, maybe you had somebody to say something hurtful to you. You know, maybe you said something hurtful to somebody to try to hurt their feelings. Was you being a witch? Was you being a warlock? Was you in control of your emotions? Was you able to foresee the evil coming and then to avoid it? Was you able to do that? Was you able to beware of thine own soul, as Moses told us to do? I got a lot that I want to say about last week and all the doctrine, the new things that's coming up. And I got a lot that I want to say, man. But if I do that, then I will be falling into the same trap. I'll be falling into the witchcraft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you about this week's Torah portion. Does anybody remember what this week's Torah portion, who it's about? It's about Israel. But there's a main player, and he's one of my favorite people to read about in our history. His name is Balaam, all right? Balaam the warlock, Balaam the magician, Balaam the witch. And that's what we're seeing all week on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm just like, man, this is crazy. We got a whole bunch of new Israelites and a whole bunch of old Israelites. Wow. That's right, Balaam. Right. So with that being said, this week's Torah portion, because every week we read the laws, we read the prophets, and we read the gospel in procession. Now, some weeks we'll just read the laws to the people. And then once we get off of online, we'll go to ourselves or to our local communities and we'll read the prophets and the gospel. But I'm telling you, men of Israel, what you should be doing is men of Israel. If you're watching on Facebook, switch over to YouTube. And the water for everybody that's on YouTube. If you're already on YouTube, make sure you don't leave this ministry without hitting the subscribe button. Okay. That way you can be informed whenever these teachings come up. All right. So 22 minutes. We'll get started in about 30. We'll get started in 3 minutes. All right. So men of Israel, you should be teaching your families the law, statutes, commandments. You should be teaching a higher standard. Okay. You should be teaching your family how to love the Most High's instructions, how to understand the prophecies, and how to read and understand the gospel of the Messiah. And don't let nobody come and do no witchcraft on you and tell you, oh, you don't got to do that no more. Why? Because Jesus came and died on the cross. And now all you got to do is love and be nice to the animals. All right. Don't let nobody come and change. Don't let nobody make you shaky. All right. Stick to the script. Stick to the milk of the word. All right. Stick to the milk. And if you're gonna research books, Shalom, my northern kingdom, Mashpakayim, Shalom, my northern kingdom brothers and sisters, my southern kingdom brothers and sisters. You know, Shalom to you all. All right, Anyablakam, Malak Lamad, Anyablakam. All right. So stick to the script because that's what's going to keep us safe. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I think we have a good amount of family members that's building here on YouTube with us. All right. Facebook, I still encourage y'all to come on over because, again, we're going to be doing a screen sharing. You're going to miss out. All right. I don't want you to miss out. All right. All right. So let's get to this real quick. So this week's Torah portion, which all men of Israel should be teaching their families. If you're not able to teach your families this, then send them to a community or, or somebody who you trust to be able to teach them. All right. It might be me, might not be me. It might be, your local rabbi. I don't know, whatever. So let's get to it. So this week's Torah portion, we're going to start off with the book of Numbers, chapter 22. And for those of you that's new with it, we read the law, we read the prophecies, and we read the gospel. Now, with this week, we see that this week's prophecy and this week's gospel go hand in hand. All right. We see that the Most High, he protect us from witchcraft, which is what we see again happening through Israel. We see Israelites performing witchcraft out of their mouths. All right. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, manipulation is a form of witchcraft. Okay. But we're also going to learn something very powerful that the Most High said There's no witchcraft that'll work against you, Israel. Yo, YHWH, did you know that the Most High said no witchcraft can work against you? And I'm not even just talking about no weapon formed against me. I'm not even talking about that. You ever wonder why the Exorcist movies and, you know, the Edomites' houses always get haunted, and it's always, you know, and you be watching like, why that don't ever happen to Israelites? Why that don't happen? Why is that on a low scale not happening to YHWH? This week's Torah portion, the Most High tells us why. First of all, Yahawashi is our protecting angel. Okay, it's not to say that you've never seen something, because we come from a nation of seers. Okay, we come from a nation of seers. But the Most High does show us that he protects us from all forms of witchcraft, all forms of evil. Now, as I get started, I encourage everybody that's on here, that's speaking, that's building, Baba Kusha, go back and forth, communicate with each other, show each other love. All right, encourage, invite others to come in. Okay. And as we finish up this week's Torah portion reading, I encourage everybody not only to pay attention to what you learn, but go out throughout the week paying attention to what you see, not just what you heard, but what you also see. Because I'm telling you, whenever you read the law, whenever you read the Torah portion, you're always going to see these things throughout the week. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to read Numbers. And for everybody that's watching on YouTube, we're going to get started with the screen sharing. For everybody that's watching on Facebook, I encourage you, switch over to YouTube. Okay. If you're watching on Facebook, switch over to YouTube so you can be a part of this community, so you can see the screen sharing, so your voice can be heard. All right. So your posts and your comments can be acknowledged. Okay. All right. All praise the Most High. All praise the Most High. All right. So let's get started. I encourage everybody to have their Bibles open. All right. And as we read the Torah portion, this happens every single time. All right. As we read the Torah portion, this happens every single time. All right. You're going to see something that happened throughout the week. It never fails. It never fails. You know, last week there were deaths in the families. All right. There were, and when you read the Torah portion, there was what? Miriam died, you know, or Aaron died, you know, and then you get notification like, well, what happened? You know, well, so-and-so just passed away. It's like, man, I was just reading about that. Or you read the Torah portion, how the Most High says he's going to cleanse us with waters. And all of a sudden you find out, you know, there was a great flood, or, you know, a tornado happened in Ohio. Like, it just never fails, man. The Most High is so cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, reading with one of my favorite characters. We're going to get started with the screen share. All right. And until I actually get my laptop updated, we might have, you know, a little interruptions, you know, some slow running, but we'll see. We'll keep it moving. All right. So all praise Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahawashi. We'll start off with saying TAZATHYATH. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kodash, 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 holy, holy, holy. Kodash, 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 holy, holy, holy. Kodash, 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 holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. TAZATHYATH Abanaw Yahweh Basham Hamashiach Yahawashi. Babu Kusha SHaLAch Laya Katalyam. Wakal Mashvaka Katayam. Wakal Abayam Katayam. Wakal Katayam Kala Yasha Kala Pa'im. Yahweh, please forgive me of my sins and all of the men of Israel for their sins, and all of the kings of Israel for their sins. And Babu Kusha SHaLAch LaChaa, please forgive to all Hayaladium YHWH, the children of Israel, call Katayim, all the sins, call Hapa'im throughout all time. Yahweh Babu Kusha, bring again your people to your covenant. The water for the blessing of your holy son who shed his blood for YHWH to bring us back to you, that righteous sacrificial lamb. Bahasham Hamashiach Yahawashi, TAZATHYATH Tamyad Wa Aman. Aman. Let's get started. We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 22. I'm going to start at verse 1. Numbers, chapter 22 and verse 1. Now, remember what happened last week. Last week, we were just trying to get through the land, all right? Which is, again, another reason why it's so important to do the Torah portions and the recaps, is because they keep you sharp throughout the word of Yahweh. Last week, All we wanted to do was just get through the land. Esau, you seen everything that happened to us, man, how the Egyptians mistreated us. Look, man, the Most High delivered us. We just trying to get to the place where Yahweh said we can get to. Esau said, no, you niggas can't pass through this land. Esau said, absolutely not. You niggas cannot pass through here. I don't like you. And if you try to pass through here, I'm coming to war. All right. Quick note. I encourage everybody to make sure they have one of these. Flavius Josephus. This is my homie. Josephus will give you the history on how Esau came out against us with weapons and with witches. Esau was trying to cast spells on us. He's like, didn't nobody want to fight Israel? But see, at that time, we didn't want to fight. We just wanted to pass through the land. Also, and salute to the daughters of Israel. Thank you for everybody who sent contributions for love, who send, encouragement. Again, Tawada to the Akwath, the daughter of Israel, who blessed this ministry with this book right here. This book is called Eusebius Ecclesiastical's History. Eusebius Ecclesiastical History. This is not like the book of the Essenes, which is a garbage book. The book of the Essenes is good for the poo-poo caca pile. Why do I say that? Because you can just research who wrote it. This is not like the Gospel of the 12, which is good for the poo-poo caca pile. Why do I say that? Because the Gospel of the 12 is a book that's geared towards veganism, which is okay. If you want to eat vegetables your whole life, that's completely fine. But I guarantee you this, once a year, according to Numbers chapter 1, Numbers chapter 9, start at verse 1, read down about verse 15. The Most High commands us to eat lamb once a year for Passover. The European man who invented, it was like a group of 3 dudes. Listen, all you got to do is research, what am I reading? What is somebody else trying to get me to read? All you got to do is research, what are you reading? Check the authenticity of the authorship. The Gospel of the Essenes and the Gospel of the 12 Holy are both trash. I encourage you, stick to your Bibles. And if you need any outside references, use history, use antiquities. This person really lived. His name was Eusebius. I feel brokenhearted if I know I teach you incorrectly, and I know that I'm going to get in trouble for it. I'm afraid of getting in trouble for it, so I'm very careful what I teach out of. Now, even though you have heard me speak out of the book of Jasher, I don't get online and be like, yeah, you see, because the book of Jasher specifically, listen, I read out of the book of Jasher for my own entertainment purposes, and because Jasher has dates and it has names in it, it's like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But I don't use it as a historical document. First of all, the Bible, Flavius Josephus and Eusebius, these 2 brothers really lived. There's historical records on them. Their books are real. So with that being said, both of these men give an account of each other and of Balaam. And that's my point. They give an account of Esau and how Esau mistreated Israel when we were just trying to pass through the land. All right. So last week's Torah portion, we see that we were just trying to pass through the land. We got to the land of the Mennonites, to the Amorites. The Amorite, Esau and the Amorites both did the same thing. Our grandfathers was like, look, we're not going to touch nothing. We're not going to eat nothing. We ain't even going to pick no corn. Our animals, if our animals drink any of the water, which you can't force a bull to not lick up the grass. You can't force a bull to not like take a sip of water. You can't. But our fathers was so staunch on getting to the land and showing a good example. Moses was like, look, if any of our animals drink anything, we will pay for it. We just want to take the King's Highway, which the King's Highway was a protective route. And the king did not have to come into contact with nobody. Just a protective route so we can shoot straight through the land so we can just go home. We're trying to get to our promised land that Yahweh delivered to us. Boom. Ammon said no. Then they wanted to go to war. Oh, you want to fight with us? Well, look, we don't want no smoke, but since you coming with it, Yahweh be with us. Boom. Wiped out the Amorites. Then we took over all their lands, took over all their cities. Same thing with Esau. But the scandalous part about Esau was Esau, Amalek, They did something shiesty. Amalek came from behind us and they killed they murdered. There's a difference between killing and murdering. Remember that. So when you're watching TV and they're like, police shooting, black man killed. No, he was murdered. She was murdered. And they don't want to use that murder word because that murder word hurts. Murder hurts a lot. Killing sounds like, oh, this person, that person, and somebody died. Murder, it sounds like. All right. Ratzazak. Ratzazak. It's how you say murder. And even when you pronounce it in Hebrew, it even sounds harsh. Ratzazak. All right. If you're watching on Facebook, switch over to YouTube. So with that being said, I encourage everybody to use these two books because we're going to learn about Balaam and we're going to learn about what happened during this time frame out of Josephus. All right. I won't be using Eusebius today, but he is a great resource. So I encourage you all, if you need help, I can help you with historical books. All right. I can give you the information, and I'm not going to lead you to no weirdo books that just fits my own agenda. Okay. I'm not going to perform witchcraft on you. I'm going to teach you the truth. And I'm going to teach you out a historical point of view. And if you find something wrong with it, be like, hey, look, something's wrong with this. And I'll be like, oh, okay, what is it? Because the majority of the time, I look at the things that I'm researching first. I don't just be like, oh, well, this match up with this, so I'm going to say that. Nah, it don't work like that, partner. I got to teach you the truth because I'm afraid of the Most High. So let's get back to this real quick. So we see what happened last week. We just wanted to pass through the land. As we were passed through the land, we went to war. We went to war. We went to war. We went to war. Now, Moab has a brother named Ammon. Ammon and Moab, the Ammonites and the Moabites are brother and brother. So when Moab seen Ammon get destroyed by us, now Moab is terrified. They seen us come through. They seen us wipe them out, but we didn't wipe them out because it was our choice. We wiped them out because they picked on us first. And it's always been like that. They pick on us first. Let's get to this reading real quick and see. So that's our recap. All right. That's our recap. Yay. So everybody's caught up. So let's see what happens this week with this week's Torah portion, starting with the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verse 1. Wahayaladim Yasha'Allah and the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab on this side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak. Everybody remember this name. This dude is very important. He's like that little bitty Moabite dude that don't want to fight you, but he'll shoot you in the back of the head. He's like that little bitty Moabite dude that don't want to fight you, but as soon as you turn around, he'll like run at you and try to karate kick you, right? In his flip-flops, okay? Moabites really don't want no smoke with us, all right? And as one of the sisters was bringing out, they're a tiny nation. They don't get very big. Look at Yasha'Allah, man. We got our women are powerful. Our women are not just beautiful, but our women are powerful. Okay. So Moab didn't want no smoke with Yasha'Allah. And one of the kings of Moab, his name was Balak. All right. I don't want to hear Asian lives matter. I don't want to hear, stop Asian hate crimes. Nah, man, forget that. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something real quick. Jackie Chan is racist as hell. In case y'all didn't know, Jackie Chan be cooning you niggas. Go and watch Jackie Chan's movies. Whenever he be having Israelites in them, he be having us break dancing and beat bopping and big lips. And, like he literally does this, the caricatures when something blows up in one of the Moabite faces, they have the big eyes and the red lips. And they'll be like, I can't even do it. I'm so handsome. All praise Yahweh by Shama Mashiach Yahushua. Jackie Chan does that. Jackie Chan racist, just like the rest of the Moabites. So I don't want to hear like all of that, look, man, I'm 1200 with you. They did us bad. And something that you're going to find out about these Moabites were a part of the reason that our nation was so greatly destroyed. Why? They used witchcraft against us. They couldn't defeat us, so they used witchcraft. And guess what? One of the ways that they use witchcraft. Okay, pop quiz. I'm going to read on, but on YouTube, I want everybody that's watching, if you're on YouTube, do you know, since the Moabites couldn't defeat us, what was the device that the Moabites used against us? Now, we know Balaam, all right? We know Balak, we know witchcraft, but since none of that stuff worked, what did they use that actually did work against us? And even to this day, it works. Even to this day, it works against us. I'll give you a hint. You can find it in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 1 through verse 5. All right. So let's read on. Numbers chapter 22, verse 2. And Balak, remember that name, son of Zippor, saw that YHWH Israel, had done to the Amorites. Verse 3. And Moab was sore afraid of the people. I mean, they was terrified, not just a little bit afraid. I'm talking about sore afraid. All right. Was sore afraid of the people because they were many. Hallelujah. And Moab was distressed because the children of Israel, you know, like that feeling that some of us might have had, you know, like, man, I don't want to fight. Man, I got to fight. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to play sick. I'm going to go to the office. I got a bellyache. I don't want to fight after school. Boy, you fine. Get out there and fight. All right. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian. Now, watch how this plays out, because you're going to have to learn who these characters are in the Bible. Everybody that was in the Bible then are still here today. And that's how you so-called Negroes are Hebrew Israelites. You're not a Hebrew Israelite because you heard of this belief system and you started following. You're a Hebrew Israelite because in the book of Genesis, chapter 11, there was a man whose name was Eber. Eber gave birth to a son named Abraham. Abraham had a son named Isaac. Isaac had a son named Jacob. Jacob's name was later changed to Israel. So you have two grandfathers in the Bible. One, his name is Eber, the Hebrew. And then you have Isaac, who is Israel. Jacob, who is Israel. So you're a Hebrew from Eber. You're an Israelite from Israel. So that's how you got your lineage. We are who we are because of our lineage. So everybody that was in the Bible then primarily is here now. Some of them, the Most High completely wiped out. All right. But the majority of us are still here. So just like the Moabites, today the Moabites are the Chinese nation. All right. So the Midianites. OK. So when we look at Midian can be found in Genesis chapter 25. OK. The Midianites, they can be found in Genesis chapter 25. So this shows us that Midian was a Shemitic people. All right. Also, pop quiz. What nation? Pop quiz, everybody on YouTube. So I'm gonna come back and check the answer. The first question that I asked, pop quiz, was what did Moab use against us that actually worked? Their witchcraft didn't work. So what did they use? And then I gave a hint. I said the hint can be found in Deuteronomy chapter 4. Verse 1 through verse 5, and it still works against us today. Shalom to everybody watching on Facebook. You will get so much more out of this if you was watching on YouTube. All right, come to the YouTube. If you don't know the YouTube, the sister Na'avah Yasha'Allah, she put the link up there, and I pinned it. So all you gotta do is click that link. It'll bring you straight to the YouTube. All right. So second pop quiz. Masha's father-in-law, Jethro. All right. What nation was he from? The answer is right here. All right. And if you can, a scripture would be cool. So let's do verse 4. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as an ox licketh up the grass of the field. And Balak, son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. All right. Little bitty scary man, king of a little bitty scary people. All right. So when he says, shall lick up, like an ox shall lick up the grass of a field, because if you notice how an ox eats the grass, it sticks its tongue down and it swipes up, and there's a bald patch that's right there. So Moab, the king of Moab, Balak, he said, when these people who are the Israelites come through, he said, man, they're going to wipe us out. They're going to wipe us out. So this man was terrified. But here's the problem right there. This shows you their blatant racism against us. We wasn't even coming to fight them. We are only walking home. We just want to get to our house. The land that Yahweh, who delivered us out of Egypt, promised us. But as soon as they seen us, they was like, nigga, hurry up and buy and get out. Hurry up and buy. Hurry up. Go, get away from us. And the same way, the same mentality, the same attitude, the same demeanor that they carried back then is the same demeanor now. Locking car door windows for what? For what? I don't want your car door. My car has its own door. You don't have to lock your car door. I got one of my own. Mine's got a lock on it too, and it's automatic. You had to do this. Mine's automatic. So they put out a negative persona against us, and you can see the same example here. See, he said, look, he even gossiped about us. See, Balak sent messengers unto who? Unto, and here's the star of the show right here. All right. Now Yahweh is the star of the show. All right. You Israelites are the star of the show. Here's the co-star and villain in name himself, Balaam, son of Beor. I want everybody to get this name, copy this name, paste this name, remember this name, document this name, research this name, Balaam. Why is Balaam so important? Because Balaam is the reason the majority of us are in captivity to this day. Balaam taught the other nations how to destroy us. And it wasn't through fire. It wasn't through drowning us. It wasn't through abortion. All right. Does anybody know what Balaam used to teach the other nations to destroy us? All right. So let's see. So he was afraid. So he gossiped against us. He said he sent messengers, therefore, unto Balaam, son of Beor, to Pethor. So this is where he lived. This is who his father was, which is by the river and the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, behold, there is a people come out of Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth. They abide over against me. These niggas is across the street from me. Verse 6. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure, I shall prevail that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot, all right, I know, for I wot, he whom thou blesseth is blessed, and he whom thou curseth is cursed. So now we see Balak saying, look, Balaam, I know that what you do is real. You're a real warlock. Whoever you curse, it really be a curse on them. Whoever you bless, it really be a bless on them. Hey, Balaam, I heard about when you was in Egypt and you threw down that rod and it turned into a snake. Oh, didn't know that, did you, huh? Balaam was in Egypt. Balaam go way, way back in our history. Balaam was an old man at this time, but Balaam was a young man. Back in Egypt, Balaam, everybody remember the whole story. Hey, if you're watching on Facebook, go to YouTube. You're missing out. You just love Facebook that much. You just gotta be on Facebook. You just, you know, I understand. You just don't do YouTube, right? There's some people that do YouTube, but they don't do Facebook. You don't do YouTube, right? You just like this angle. I know. Go to YouTube so you can get the full picture. I need you to see this. Come on. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. So Balaam was old and he used to live in Egypt. He was a part of the magicians, magi. He was a part of the magicians that were in Egypt when Masha was born. He was a part of that council. Okay. But watch this. He also had two sons. I want to let y'all know something. All right. No worries. No worries. You'll get more edification if you went to YouTube, though, because you can actually see what I'm saying. All right. But it's cool, though. All right. I love you either way it go, man. Listen, I don't love you because of the platform. I love you because I just love you. And there's nothing that you can do about it. You cannot make me not love you. Not that you want to. I mean, I just love you and there's nothing you can do about it. So watch this. So, the mages, the witches, the warlocks that were all in the council of Egypt. All right. This one of them was Balaam. Balaam had two sons that worked with him. But the word for son, ban, also means servant. A son is a servant. So you'll be reading the scripture and it'll say, and Abraham had his servants with him. All right. Well, who was his servant? Oh, so you mean to tell me that it was possible that Ishmael was there along with Eleazar? Because Eleazar was his servant, but Ishmael was his servant in his son form. So don't forget that. There's a lot of phrases that we have to learn. And in the process of learning these, it'll open up a lot more scriptures. You don't got to go to no mystical books. Just stay within your Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. All right. Stay within your Bible. Read all the way through, all the way up to the Old Testament. Read past Acts. Read the whole story of Paul. So can't nobody talk to you about Paul's personality. You can read it for yourself. You can be like, yo, this dude didn't do nothing wrong. Like, I'm reading his account. He didn't, like, yo, like Paul was a good dude. He started off bad, but he's good. Back to this. So Balak says what? So remember, now we have our key players. We have Yashar'Allah. We have Balak, who was the king of Moab. We have Balaam, who was the Midianite witch or the Midianite warlock, right? And then we have the children of Israel, okay? So that's, what's that, 4 groups? We have Israel, Balaam, and the Moabites. We have Midian, the Midianites, and we have Balaam, right? So we have Israel, Moab, Balak, the Midianites, because there was a council of Midianites, and then we have Balak, who was amongst the Midianites. All right, so verse 7. Numbers chapter 22, verse 7. Pay attention, keep up with the story, everybody. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian, you see that? So we had a council of people that was against us. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they came to Balaam and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as Yahweh shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. Now, what do we see here? We see that Balaam was a Gentile man who had access to knowing how to get to Yahweh. So that opens up a lot of more doors. That opens up a lot more understanding. And what you going to... So that opens up a lot of doors. So Balaam knew how to channel in, how to send up sacrifices, and how to actually hear from Yahweh. Isn't that interesting? And he wasn't an Israelite. Isn't that interesting? Right? But he was a warlock. So remember that. He was a magician, and he was very good at his job. And that's why we're going to read about Balaam in the book of Flavius Josephus, okay? So everybody that has a book of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Israelites, because the word antiquities is what we say instead of histories. Now, I'm going to be doing this all day. My batteries don't run out. If you get tired and you need to go get some cookies and Kool-Aid, or if you got to get up and sit down every 5 or 10 minutes, you got to pee, you got a short attention span, okay, I'll still be here. Okay, so you can go and come back. All right. The point of me saying that is to say, I'll be here teaching. So, don't sharpen your attention span too. Don't get so distracted so easy. That's why, like, when I be on my alone time, when I be playing a game, I really just be enjoying my alone time, because when it's time to teach, it's time to teach, daddy. When it's time to teach, it's time to teach. So I encourage you, everybody get one of these. Flavius Josephus, History of the Israelites. This is Flavius Josephus, and it's book number 4, chapter 6. And it's entitled Concerning Balaam the Prophet and What Kind of Man He Was. That sounds like it's filled with information, don't it? Concerning Balaam the Prophet and what kind of man he was. And it actually is full of information. See? Reading rainbow. Butterflies in the sky. So we're going to get to Balaam and his personality. We're going to get to Balaam and his history. But first, we got to read the word of Yahweh, okay? So if I had a reader with me, or, I would be like, hey, bring this out, but we have to kind of do it like this. So get you a Flavius Josephus so you can see it for yourself. Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6, okay? So let's read on. So we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verse 8. And he said unto them, so Balaam said unto the Moabite ambassadors and to the Midianite ambassadors, because it was 2 groups of 2 different nations who both came together to come and talk to Balaam. And both of these groups was like, hey, we want to kill the Israelites. And Balaam was like, you know what? Y'all just stay at my house for the night. I'll see what Yahweh say. And then y'all can. And so that's kind of how it finger puppet worked out. Okay. So, and he said unto them, lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as Yahweh shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. Verse 9. And Alahiah came unto Balaam and said, what are these men with thee? And Balaam said unto Alahiah, Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath said unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Matazardium, come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Pre-adventure, I shall be able to overcome and drive them out. And Alahiah said unto Balaam. Now, notice I'm not saying Alahayam. When you got these brothers and they're reading and they're just polyparrot repeating things because they don't really, because we all need to learn more. That's all it is. Every word is not Alahayam. 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 Well, that's plural. Alahayam is plural. So that's saying the powers. Well, this isn't a plural phrase. This is a singular phrase. I just got notification that my phone says battery power is on 4% on my phone, so it may be wearing down. If you want to continue with this video, I encourage you, switch over to YouTube. When you get over to YouTube, make sure you subscribe. I won't be able to stop this lesson and put the phone on the charger, so that's kind of how it's going to be. So if you're watching on Facebook, please switch over to YouTube. This video is going to cut off abruptly, and I don't want you to miss a thing, all right? Don't want to close my eyes. Don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss you, baby. Okay. So back to it. So Numbers chapter 22, verse 12. And Alahiah said unto Alahiah. So Alahiah is my power. Allah is power by itself. Alahiah is your power. Alahayam is the powers. So right here it says, wa ya amar al bala Balaam, wa ya amar al Balaam, and God said unto Balaam, thou shalt not go with them, thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. Verse 13. And Balaam rose up in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, get you to your land. Or hey man, go home. Hey, get out of here. Get you to your land, for Yahweh refuses to give me leave to go with you. Now, let's stop right there. Now we're going to open up our book of Flavius Josephus, okay? Now we're going to open up Josephus, and we're going to see what Josephus says on this account. So you're going to hear it. It's going to sound very similar, all right? All praise. You're going to hear it. It's going to sound very similar, but it's going to sound like you're reading it from a historical account, okay? So, and it reads, you know what? Actually, I think I pulled it up here. Man, it would have been nice if I would have had it up here. You know what? We can still do it. I think we can do it. Can we do it, Israel? I think we can do it. Let's do it. Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6. Oh, no connection. Flavius Josephus, book number 4, chapter 6. It's not even close to what I said. I wonder if I talk with the accent that the computer can't understand me. Now let's try that one more time. Flavius Josephus, book number 4, chapter 6. You gotta talk like an Edomite. I knew it. Racist, just racist computers. All right, Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews. All right. So I'll praise the Most High. So we're still doing screen share, so I'll be able to share and read it to you on the screen. That's even better. All right, now the grandchildren of Noah. That's not what we want. All right, book number 4. Book, oh, because it didn't spell it. It didn't spell it. It spelled it F-O-R. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So, and this is why I really enjoy doing the YouTube, because do I sound old when I say I enjoy doing the YouTubes? When I do the YouTubes, I enjoy it. But I enjoy doing YouTube because we can do the screen share, and again, you know, I like for you to see what it is I'm saying. I like for the people to learn. That's what it is. You know, I feel very joyful, you know, when I know that the people that we're all learning together. Let's see. That's 126. That's line 126. Let's go back a line. All right. That's 118. Let's go back one more line. Well, these are actually paragraph. These are the lines. So the way that Flavius Josephus works is it'll be book, chapter, paragraph, line. Book, chapter, paragraph, line. And that's how Flavius Josephus works. And I think that's why it's hard for some people to get a grasp with Josephus, because we're still trying to do verse, verse, verse. And it's not really like that. But once you get it, you know, you'll be very grateful. So remember that Flavius Josephus goes book, chapter, paragraph, line, number. Okay. So let's see. We're in Flavius Josephus, book number 4, chapter 6. Looks like we're in paragraph 2 and line 102. All right. So I'm going to read, and it reads, when Balak, king of the Moabites, who had his ancestors in friendship in league with the Midianites. So it shows us that his ancestors was friends with the Midianites. I'm going to come back to the group real quick, make sure everything is good. All right. Khan, Thawadi, how everybody can see this. Looks like we're good. All right. Okay. All praise the Most High. Looks like we're good. All right. So I'm going to get back to this. All right. When Balak, king of the Moabites, who from his ancestors and friendship and league with the Midianites, if you're watching on Facebook, it's gonna die. Switch over to YouTube, okay? I encourage you, please. I don't want to lose you, and I want to make sure you see this. All right. Saw how great the Israelites were grown, he were much affrighted on account of his own and his kingdom's danger. And for he was not, watch this. Now watch this. Watch this. Balak, for he was not acquainted with this, that the Hebrews would not meddle with any other country. See, he was not acquainted that we would not meddle with any other country. He was just a racist, little bitty man. He was a little bitty scared man. All right. So he wasn't acquainted that the Hebrews would not meddle with any other country, but were to be content with the possession of the land of Canaan. Alahaya, having forbidden them to go any further. So we had our boundary. So he didn't know that. So instead, you know, he just wanted to pull a Karen on us and call 911. All right. So he, Balak, the Moabite king. So he, with more haste than wisdom. So he moved too fast. He didn't think about it. Resolved to make an attempt upon them by words. Do y'all know how funny this sentence is? Look at this. Resolved to make an attempt upon them by words. You know what? We can't fight them. We just gonna say stuff at them. We're just gonna throw some words at them. I'll be thinking funny stuff in my head and I can't say it all. You know, just imagine throwing a bunch of pots and pans down the stairs. That's what he was doing, you know, and that's what he was saying to us. That's what I was doing in my head. So what he did was, instead of knowing that he couldn't fight us, he resolved to make an attempt on us by words. But he did not judge it prudent to fight against them after they had such a prosperous success, and even came out ill success, more happy than before, and even became out of ill success. Okay, but he thought to hinder them, if he could, from growing greater. He could not stop us from growing greater as a nation. So he resolved to send ambassadors to the Midianites about them. Now these Midianites, knowing there was one Balaam who lived by the Euphrates and was the greatest of the prophets at that time, and one that was in friendship with them, sent some of their honorable princes among the ambassadors of Balak to entreat the prophet to come to them, that he might imprecate curses to the destruction of the Israelites. So this is the best thing he can think of. I know I can't beat them in the fight, so I just want to try to curse them. To entreat the prophet to come to them, that he might imprecate curses to the destruction of the Israelites. So Balaam, watch this. Now, this is what shows you Balaam was a rotten scoundrel. Watch this. Watch what his mentality was. So Balaam received the ambassadors. First of all, if Balaam was a good dude, if he was on our side, he should have been like, nah, man, leave them Israelites alone. Those are the children of Abraham. Don't mess with them. All right. That's what he should have said. But instead, so Balaam received the ambassadors and treated them very kindly. And when he had supped, he required what was Alahiah's will, that this matter was for, what was Alahiah's will and what his matter was for which the Midianites entreated to come to them. But when Alahiah opposed, so the Most High opposed to his going, he came to the ambassadors and told them that he, look at this, that he himself was very willing and desirous to comply with their request. So Balaam, wanted to do us bad. I'm telling y'all, Balaam is one of my favorite characters in the Bible. One of my favorite characters in the Bible. He was one of the first Karens. So everybody else watching on YouTube, on Facebook, they pretty much missed out, or the Most High's will, they'll catch up or come over here. The Facebook, it died. It went on. The phone died. But I really don't mind, because I try to give everybody, hey, look, come over here, come over here, come over here. It won't be always, and then, don't be like crisscross. Don't miss the bus. No, I missed the bus. I missed the bus. And that was something I'll never, ever, ever do again. Y'all remember that? Man, I can't be the only one that remember that song. Okay, so he himself was very willing and desirous to comply with their request, but informed that Alahiah was opposite to his intentions, even that Alahiah, who had raised them from raised him, the same Alahiah that raised Balaam, raised him to great reputation on account of the truth of his predictions. So he wasn't a sham. Listen, Balaam wasn't a sham. There are such things as witches. Witches are real. Warlocks are real. All right. Hold that thought right quick. We're going to come right back to the scriptures. Let's see if I can pull this up for y'all. These are two books that I want you to get. If you can't get them, you can listen to them. Hold on. Prepare for War, Dr. Rebecca Brown. Oh, wow. It pulled right up. Okay. All praise. Okay. All praise. It pulled right up. So check this out. This is a book. It's called Prepare for War. All right. It was written by an Edomite woman. All right. Her name is medical doctor Rebecca Brown. I read this book from beginning to end. All right. When I first saw it, I was in summer camp for about 5 years. And I was like, oh, man, this looks like a good comic book because of the picture, because of the image. Right. And when I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, this is like a Christian book. It's this book right here. All right. I still have a copy of this book on my bookshelf to this day. Okay. By Rebecca Brown, Prepare for War. This book goes into detail on how America, next to the UK. The UK is first with witchcraft and witches, but America is second in witches and witchcraft, because America is like a baby of Britain. America is like a baby of the UK. But how the American medical profession is full of nothing but witches. I ain't gonna say nothing but it's full of witches. All right. So she goes to her account. Hold on. Prepare for War. Let me see. Let's do another one. And this is another one by Rebecca Brown. I read this one too. And this is where I learned a lot of information about witchcraft in America. Some stuff I already knew, and other stuff I was like, wow, that's deep. He came to set the captives free, Rebecca Brown. And let's see and this is part 2. Wait, I think this is part 1 and this is part 2. Or this is part 1 and this is part 2. I don't know. I read both of them though. I got this one first and then I read this one. I was like, oh, wow. But these are two very good title books that teach about witchcraft in America. Okay. And as you see, now listen, don't go and get it right now, because today is the Shabbat. Okay. No buying, no selling on the Sabbath day. I love you, Israel. I will not teach you to sin. All right. This book is $8.49. This book is $9.49. Okay. After the Shabbat, maybe you all can hear. I'll give you the link if you choose to. If you're into this type of studies, I very much am. Okay. I like to know things. That's my thing. I like to know things. All right. I don't like being deceived. Okay. And let me paste that. And let me send it. I don't know if it's going to come all the way through. Nope, it didn't. But you can copy that. You can try it. You can look it up for yourself. All right. So the information is there. So those are two good books that I have personally read myself, Prepare for War, and He Came to Set the Captives Free. So let's get back to this. Okay. So this is, again, we're in the book of Flavius Josephus. Okay. We're reading the historical account. Okay. We're reading all of this highlighted stuff that I got right here. This is what we're currently reading. All right. But inform them that Alahiah was opposite to his intentions, even that Alahiah who had raised him to great reputation on account of the truth of his predictions. See, so Balaam, he wasn't no sham. He was the real deal. All right. For that army, you see this word right here, that word army. Let's do this one now. Okay. Man, it gets good when it gets good, boy. I'm telling you. All right. We're going to paste. All right. We're going to do army. We're going to do BLB. KJV. We're going to look up the word army in the Bible. What do y'all think the word army in the Bible is? Anybody? Does anybody know what the word army in the Bible is? All right. If you do, just post it. No harm. And there's no such thing as a wrong answer. You know, you more than likely right. All right. There's a reason why I want to show you this, because the Most High called us His army. All right. All right, so we have the word tazabah. All right, so will not army of Israel go with thee? All right, let's pick a verse. I'm gonna randomly pick a verse. Okay. All right, boom, we'll stop right here. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 20 and verse 1. And it came to pass that after that year was expired, at the time of the king, at the time that the kings go out to battle, Joab led forth the power of the army and wasted the country of the children of Ammon and came and besieged Rabbah. But David, Dawah, tarried at Jerusalem, and Joab smote Rabbah and destroyed it. Now let's go to the word army real quick. All right. So we have tazabah for the word army. All right. 3 characters, tazabah. Look at this. The word army, tazabah, it means host. So every time you see the Lord of hosts, he's saying, I am the Lord of the army. Did you know that the word camp is the same for the word army? So every time somebody says camp, this is the same word for church, the same word for army. Okay. So tazabah is our word for the day. All right. Tazabah is our word for the day, which means army. Let me see if I can copy and paste this. All right. Tazabah is not only camp. Tazabah is also church. Tazabah is also army. So, oh, praise. Wow. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Look at everybody's answers. I am so elated. You guys give my life meaning. That's wonderful. Tazabah. Tazabah. And everybody's answer is correct. All praise the Most High. Wow, hallelujah. And see, look, family members, this is why whenever y'all might see me on YouTube and I'll be like, oh, yeah, camp. Oh, well, you talking about my whole nation. What camp you for? I'm YHWH. What do you mean? What you talking about? I'm a part of the hosts. I'm a part of the church. I'm a part of the tazabah. See, remember this, y'all. It's only been about 5 to 6 years that the word camp became a bad word amongst Israel. And that's because there was a small group of brothers who didn't like some other brothers. And that one group of brothers was in New York and the other group of brothers was in the Midwest. And one group of brothers was like, these wicked camp niggas. And then after that, the terminology of camp just started going crazy. But the word camp is not a bad word. Tazabah is army, it's church, it's assembly, it's the community, it's all of Israel. All right. So don't feel ashamed to correct. Listen, don't be ashamed to correct people when they're saying things incorrectly. If you know that, listen, that's not a bad word. Yo, camp, yo, man, you wicked camp niggas. What are you talking about? Why are you talking about the whole nation? Because in their mind, they're thinking One West, GOCC, ISUPK, you know, whatever. They're thinking that terminology. They're not thinking nation-wise. And you have to be loving to where you love your whole nation, even your brothers and sisters that's off. You got to be humble. You got to be patient. All right. And as I say that to you, I say that to me. So let's get back to this real quick. So Balaam is saying that he said the same power, the same God who raised him to a great reputation on account of the truth of his predictions, for that this army which they entreated to come to and curse was in the favor of Allahiah, on which account he advised them to go home again and not to persist in their enmity against the Israelites. And when he had given them that answer, he dismissed the ambassadors. You see that? So Balaam was with the business. Balaam wanted to curse us. All right. Balaam wasn't like, oh man, the Israelites, nah, they're my peoples, man. They cool, man. You know, y'all know I'm a Midianite, right? Y'all know we both come from Abraham, right? Nah, they're my people. Nah, he wasn't like that. He was like, man, forget them Negroes. Yeah, I'm with it. Here, let me go see what Yahweh say. I'll be right back. All right, let's get back to the scriptures. All right, this is why you want to read Flavius Josephus as a comparison narrative, because he'll give you details that you didn't know, but those details have always been there, and it's not coming out of a mystery book. All right. Okay, so let's get back to this real quick. So Numbers chapter 22, verse 13. And Balaam rose up in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, get you into your land, for Yahweh refuses to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went unto Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come to us. So the princes, the Midianites, and the princes of Moab, they went back to the Chinese king and said, what? Balaam refuses to come with us. All right, so let's see what happens. Verse 15. And Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. So they trying to bribe this man, right? They got boxes of gold chopsticks, all kind of ramen noodles. All right. All right. Verse 16. And they came to Balaam and said unto him, thus said Balak, son of Zippor, let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me. So listen, Balaam just said, look, the same Allahiah that gave me power to make accurate predictions. He just told me I can't come with y'all, right? So y'all got to go back home. Balak came back the next day and said, don't let nothing stop you from coming to me. What would you do? What would you do, Israel? What would you do in that case if you, daughter of Israel, if you, son of Israel, you know Yahweh said to you, don't go over there, don't do that. And then somebody came up to you and was like, man, look, man, don't let nothing stop you from fulfilling your dreams. Don't let nothing stop you from being proud. Don't let nothing stop you. But you heard the word of Yahweh. Don't let nothing stop you. And the daughter of Israel, she said to me earlier today, she was like, I don't see why Yahweh got upset with him, because Yahweh had already gave him instructions. He had told him not to. And then this man, he went along and he went with it anyways. And I'm going to tell y'all this, because of this event, Balaam lost his life. All right, let's get back to this. Verse 17, for I will promote thee unto very great honor, and will do whatsoever thou sayest to me. Come, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of Yahweh, my Allahiah, to do less or more. Now, isn't that interesting? Remember, this dude is a Gentile. He is a male witch. And he said, I can't go beyond what Yahweh, my power, has told me to do. Keep that in mind, all right? I had to apologize to a Gentile last week. I apologized to him straight up. I was like, yo, my brother from another father, you know what? SHaLAch, my bad. And the reason being was because I had went in on him. And I didn't know that this Gentile was accepting to the truth. And y'all know me, like y'all seen me, like I'll minister to the Jew and to the Gentile alike, But I didn't know that he was already ministering that we're the children of Israel. And I went off of his appearance, and I was wrong for that. And after I hit him on the side and we started politicking, I was like, you know what? I was wrong. SHaLAch, Bible Kusha. I was like, Shalom, hey man, it's a blessing that you're ministering with us. I don't know why I said that, man. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I just need to make that confession. I don't know. But let's get back to this. Maybe it'll come back to me, man. Maybe it'll come back to me. I don't know. So Numbers chapter 22, verse 19. Now, therefore, I pray thee, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what Yahweh will say unto me more. Now, what did Yahweh say the first time? He said no, right? Didn't Yahweh say LaChaa? He said LaChaa the first time. So why you going to look? And here's the thing. Balaam wanted to accept this bribe. That's why it's illegal. This is one of the great examples why it is illegal for a righteous officer of Israel. I'm a shatar, and it's illegal for me to accept bribes. All right. I'm a prince and an officer of Mashra'ah Yasha'Allah, and it is illegal for anybody to be like, yo, Karatazayah, this sister did this brother did that. Yo, man, take my side. I can't. I got to take the side of the truth. But Karatazayah, I'll give you blippity blappity bloop. I can't. That's a death sentence, son. See? So Balaam wanted to take the bribe. So he went back the second time. And let that be a lesson for all you Eladim, all you children. Don't go back and ask your parents over and over after they already said no. Boy, didn't I tell you no, you can't? Don't come back and ask me again. This is a good lesson. I know that we learned it. I know our parents didn't like us to ask them over and over. After I already told you no, Lamadia, you can't. No, Rapaya, no, Bayamyan, no, Tazayawan, no, Zakaria. I'm going down a list like no, because I remember my Amma. I remember my Abba. I did it with them. Abba said no, so I went and asked Mama. Mama went and told Abba, I got a whooping because I shouldn't have went back and asked twice. Watch this. Numbers chapter 22, verse 20. And Alahiah came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I say unto thee, thou shalt, that shalt thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass. He was ready to go. I got permission to go. I'm out. Let's go curse these niggas. Actually, his mentality was whatever Yahweh told me to say, that's all I can say. All right. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. Look at this, verse 22. And now we're going to go back to Flavius Josephus after this. Pay close attention because you're really going to enjoy this. All right. You're going to enjoy this. All right. Now, keep this in mind, too, Yasharallah. The angel and Balaam. All right. We're going to read this. And when we read this, I want you to put your assessment on who do you think this angel is. Do you think this angel is just a random angel? Or do you think that this angel is the host of the army of Alahiah? Do you think that this angel is Yahweh? Because I have my own teaching, but I don't want to give it to you. I don't want to say what I think. Okay. So do you think this angel is Yahweh, or do you think that this angel is just a messenger angel? All right. This conversation has been throughout Israel for a lot of years. All right. So verse 22, and Alahiah's anger was kindled because he went. See, Balaam should have been like, not so, my Lord. You told me not to go. He shouldn't even have asked twice. And the angel of Yahweh stood in the way for an adversary against him. You see this? Look. And the angel of Yahweh stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. You see this? So we see this is one of the context clues I was trying to get at earlier. His two servants. This is why it's important to study Flavius Josephus and learn about Balaam. Now, extra credit, fun homework to do. There's a book called The Book of the Upright, Hasapad Yashar, the Book of Jasher. I can't tell you that the Book of Jasher is a 1200% accurate all the way, but I will say this. It's not as much of a bug out book as I thought it was. I thought the Book of Jasher was a bug out book, and it's really not. It's really got a lot of good information in it pertaining to history and pertaining to dates. Well, Balaam is in the Book of Jasher. And even though I don't teach the Book of Jasher on a Shabbat, you might catch me on the first day of the week or throughout the week, and I'll be like, well, yeah, Jasher say something about that, you know, and I'll leave it up to your personal interpretation. You know, Jasher does speak about Balaam. It speaks about his two sons. It speaks about his life. It speaks this exact same it has the same flow. It doesn't deviate. All right. Like not like in the gospel of the 12 where it say YHWH had a conversation with a camel, okay? Because a man was hitting the camel, and then YHWH was like, "Hey, that's my homie. Why are you being mean to the camel?" And the camel was like, "You my savior. You my. Not like that." All right. So the book of Jasher does have, you know, some interesting points, and I've looked at them, and I'm still working on, you know, what could possibly be contradictions. And if they are, I'll admit it. I'm not going to try to make it fit my point. I'll admit it. Like, yo, this is just wrong. All right. So, but the point of saying that is to say the book of Jasher does talk about this same example, and it talks about Balaam's 2 servants, which would have been his 2 sons that were with him in Egypt. But Josephus also talks about Jasher. I'm sorry. Josephus also talks about Balaam too. We also see this phrase right here. It says the angel of the Lord. Okay. Who do you think the angel of the Lord is? Like it says not a angel, but the angel of Yahweh. Okay. I think that it's YHWH. I have my reasons. Okay. Now, before we go back to this, all right, if everybody's doing okay, put a 7 in the room for me, Baba Kusha, just to let me know, you know, give me some encouragement. All right. All right, so now watch this. Now, remember, we just read out of Flavius Josephus on the past passage. Now we're going to get caught up, okay? Now, watch this. We're in the book of Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 4, chapter 6, paragraph 3, line 107, 107, all right? 107, homie. Okay. All right, so we in 10-7 for all my ex-Hebrew gangbangers, all right? All right, so now the Midianites, at the earnest request and fervent entreaties of Balak, sent other ambassadors to Balaam, who, desiring to gratify the men, inquired again of Alahiah. So you see what the problem is? This is why you got to read Josephus. You see, look, Balaam was desiring to gratify the man. So this is another reason why the anger of Yahweh was kindled against him, okay? Because he wanted to go and do this thing. He was desirous to go and help these other nations to fight against Israel. Remember last chapter back, he was so willing to go. He was thirsty for this opportunity. Who, desiring to gratify the man, inquired again. So he shouldn't have asked the second time, acquired again of Alahiah, but he was displeased at the second trial and bid him by no means to contradict the ambassadors. You see that? So Alahiah was displeased at the second asking, and he bid him. He said, by no means. He said, hey, you want to go with him? Go with him. Hey, you want to go with him? Go with him. See? Let me pull up another scripture real quick. Everybody stay close. All right. Okay, so inquiring again of Alahiah, but he was displeased at the second trial, and he bid him by no means to contradict the ambassadors. Now, Balaam did not imagine that Alahiah gave him this injunction in order to deceive him. So he went along with the ambassadors. But when the divine angel met him in the way, when he was in a narrow passage, the hedge and the wall, on both sides, the ass on which Balaam rode understood that it was a divine spirit that met him and thrust Balaam to one of the walls without regard to the stripes which Balaam, when he was hurt by the wall, gave her. But when the ass, upon the angels continuing distressing her, and upon the stripes which were giving her, fell down by the will of Allah, the will of power, she made use of the voice of a man and complained of Balaam as acting unjustly to her. Now, watch this. We're going to take a step back. Uh-oh, slapper. Okay, we're going to take a step back. Now, what do we see happen? We see Balaam was deceived. All right. We see Balaam was deceived. Watch this. Ezekiel chapter 14. Let's get this real quick. Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 9. All right, let's see. Ezekiel chapter 14. All right. Let's see what it says. Now, the majority of you should be familiar with this verse. I'm pretty sure your elders presented it at some point in time. And this is something that we see happening in Israel right now. Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 9, and it reads, and if a prophet be deceived when he hath spoken the thing, I, Yahweh, have deceived that prophet. You see that? And I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people, Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. So just like Balaam, ain't that fire? That's fire, ain't that, y'all? All right, so keep this in mind, all right? So Balaam was deceived. Yahweh deceived Balaam, okay? Now watch this. We got to be really careful because there's some YHWH, there's some Israelites right now that are being deceived, and they're trying to deceive thou. I'm telling y'all, stick to the script, all right? Don't never forget that verse. If there's a prophet that's deceived, Alahiah has deceived him. Let's go back to Flavius Josephus. Now, Balaam did not imagine that Alahiah gave him this injunction in order to deceive him. All right. We just read that. So he went along with the ambassadors. Now we see what happened. We see that Balaam, he was beating his ass. All right. I know that sounds so funny. That just sounds wrong. Like, why did you do that to us, to give us that punchline like that? Because you know what? I don't want to be deceived. The Alahiah appeared in front of Balaam's mule. And while Balaam was beating his mule, boom, hit up against the wall. Boom, he hit up against the other wall. So Balaam like, my legs. My legs. Both my legs. So the donkey, and even though Balaam was beating him, like, man, get off the wall, keep walking. The donkey dropped, she stopped. The mule stopped and dropped. Shut it down and opened up shop. Oh, no. That's how Balaam's donkey roll. Okay, so once Balaam's donkey did that, Balaam couldn't go any further, and the Most High gave the donkey the ability to speak. Now, there are other apocryphal books that do talk about animals speaking, okay? So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, all right? She made the voice of a man and complained of Balaam acting unjustly to her, that whereas he had no fault to find with her in former service to him. You know, did I ever do anything to make you want to beat me before? He now afflicted stripes upon her, as not understanding that she was hindered from serving him in what he was now going about by the providence of Alahiah. See? So she's like, look, I got your back. I'm trying to stop you from getting killed by the Most High, homie. Why you hitting me? All right. Let's get back to the Torah. We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 22 and verse 23. And the ass saw the angel of Yahweh standing in the way with his sword drawn in hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. But the angel of Yahweh stood in the path of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. So it was a narrow passage. So now he trapped, right? Verse 25. And when the ass saw the angel of Yahweh, she thrust herself unto the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel went further and stood in the narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of Yahweh, she fell down under Balaam. She dropped. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with his staff. And Yahweh opened the mouth of the ass, and he said unto Balaam, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? Balaam didn't even get shocked. Remember, this was a warlock, so he ain't even tripped. He just had a conversation back. And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would that there were a sword in my hand, for I would kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, am I not thine ass upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, LaChaa. Then Yahweh, opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of Yahweh standing in the way with his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head and fell on his face. Now, he didn't do the Christian church catch the Holy Ghost and fall backwards. He didn't do that. I never had that happen to me. Like, I never did. I never did that. But I did dance. Crip walked all up and down the church. Got the Holy Spirit on me. So, but I didn't do the fall back. I didn't fall back. But as we see in the scriptures, everyone falls forward. Every knee shall bow. Every tongue shall confess. All right. So everyone will fall forward, will fall as if you dead. Bow to the Most High. All right. Verse 32. And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because the way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her alive. And Balaam said unto the angel of Yahweh, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now, therefore, if it displeaseth thee, I will get me back again. Here goes something that's very interesting about this statement, is that Balaam says what? I have sinned, for I knew not. That is a very powerful verse to understand. I have sinned, I knew not. Let me explain to you why. Because even if you didn't know it was a sin is a sin, daddy. You wrong, you just wrong. But I didn't know, but you still wrong. Nobody told me that there was ham hocks in the greens, but you still sinned. I didn't know that that was that brother's wife, but you still sinned. Whether you know it or whether you don't know of it, a sin is a sin. All right. And that's a very important thing for us to remember. He said, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou was in the way against me. Now, therefore, if it displeaseth thee, displeases thee, I will get me back again. Verse 35. And the angel of Yahweh said unto Balaam, go with the man, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Malach. Should he have went? Whole class, everybody say, no. Should he have went home? Yes. Balaam shouldn't have went in the first place. Verse 36. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the utmost coast. 37. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? Am I not able indeed to promote thee to honor? Can I not make you rich? Why didn't you want to come? Don't you know I can make you a baller in America? Why ain't you come to me? Verse 38. And Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word of Allah putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came to, this is a hard one, Kizrath-Hazath. Kizrath-Hazath. Whew, that's a hard one. But y'all know what? I guarantee y'all this word right here is easier to say in Hebrew than it is in English. Guarantee you. I don't want to do it right now because I want to read on, but I do want to do it. Okay, so first of all, Balaam, he lied. First of all, he lied. He said what? And Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I come unto thee. Have I now any power to say anything? So in other words, look, I don't have the power to, these words ain't mine. You know, I don't have no authority in my words. He says this, the word that Allah putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. The Most High told him, don't go in the first place. And because of his greed, he asked again. And whatever the Most High say, that's what I'm going to do. But he should have told Balaam, like, look, he should have told Balak, like, look, the Most High said, don't go. I can't go with you. Verse 40. Yeah, come on, verse 40. You know what? And I'm going to open up this page to the side so I can get the pronunciation of this. And if we have anybody that's a Hebrew reader or a scholar, if you can put the pronunciation of the Hebrew of that in the group, in the room, that would be a huge help. I'm going to have to do it later. I don't have it memorized. So, but let's read forward and I'll do it at the end of the verse. Most High will. So verse 40, and Balak offered oxen and sheep and sent to Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him into the high places of Baal, of Baal, and thence he might see the utmost parts of the people. The utmost parts of the people means the back of the people and all of them. Like I can see, yo, sis, I can see the utmost parts of you. Yo, brother, pull up your garment. I can see the utmost parts of you. All right. So with that being said, repeat after me. We just finished the reading of Numbers chapter 22. All right, repeat after me. TORAH, the body of Yahweh, Na'isha, wa na Shemai. All that Yahweh has said, will we do and hear. Hallelujah. So this is something that our grandparents said all throughout history. We said all that the Most High said, what we doing here. Another way of saying that is to just easily say Shemai. All right. Shemai is a very easy way of saying challah shadar the body how and I shah when I Shemai. Okay, Shemai. All right. All that the Most High said, what we doing here. So with that being said, let's look this up real quick. Quarayah. Oh man, that's calling. All right, so Quarayah. TAZATHYATH. I told y'all it's easier to say in Hebrew. So Quarayah, cha TAZATHYATH, Quarayah, So that's the pronunciation of that, and it means city of streets, a city in Moab. Quarayah, TAZATHYATH. All right, feminine plural, a place in Moab. Okay, so Quarayah, TAZATHYATH. So that's how we pronounce that. And if anybody has, let me see. I want to see if anybody has anything to say, anything they want to bring out while we've done that. All right, I'm going to stop the screen share just for a second. Shalom, everybody. It's been a blessing ministering reading to you. We're not done at all. I'm just going to go up and check a few comments, statements. If anybody want to say anything and want to bring anything out like that. All right. We got our Shabbat Shalom Yum. All right. TORAH to the Akwatian. TORAH for showing that sisterly love. All praise the Most High. We need that. Okay. TORAH, daughters of Israel. Okay. All right. So be it, Adrian. All right. Said what? Been dealing with a real life witch myself. Aliyah Shabai. Whoo, man. Telling you, man. Adrian, we got some. Wow. Okay. Con. Okay. All praise. All right. They women. Oh, she got it. Boo. That's the answer. I want to see if anybody else. All right. Moraya. Israel. Kal halal Yahweh Basham, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Shabbat Shalom, Mashpachah, Shabbat Shalom family. The water for that. Great answer. Great. They use their women to cause us to sin and to turn from the Most High. Lie on fire. They King Solomon us with their women. Excellent answers. Look at all these biblical scholars. Hallelujah. Now, this is how we grow as a mashpachah. This is how we grow as a nation. All right. Tazawan Yahweh, man. See you family members in class next Shabbat, man. That's a blessing. King Solomon did go off by strange women. Numbers chapter 25, verse 1 through verse 3. It's how they brought us down at this time. Con, my sis. Look at all those. Look at all those confirmations. Now, pop quiz. Was it the strange women or was it King Solomon falling in love with them and putting up their gods? Which one was it? See, now, because keep this in mind. We did have Gentile women. Whenever we went to war, if there was a nation that we conquered, we would basically put everybody to death. And if there were virgins that were left, we would keep the virgins, okay? We would keep the virgins. We would cut their hair. We would cut their fingernails. And these virgins will become our properties, our possessions. They could become our women. All right. So I think that the two of you gave an excellent A++ answer. All right. Excellent A++ answer. Extra credit. We're going to read the extra credit in the book of Flavius Josephus. So I want you two specifically to see if you can pull out the information on what the Midianites, how the Midianites helped to destroy us with their women, because the two of you gave the excellentest answer in the whole wide world. So they used their women against us. And once our men were enamored with love, I love you so much, Song Ping Wang, your little feet are just so small. And Song Ping Wang, I love the way you just look at me sideways so slantedly. You are just the Song Ping Wang of my heart. We fell in love with these Gentile women, and then when we did, they basically tricked us with their false gods. And it started with the young men of the army. Okay, I'm going to help bring that information out. The two of you did an excellent A++ answer. Mina hit us with the LOL. Na'ava, she gave a nice laugh. Rashwan gave a nice laugh. I love seeing the mashpacha, the family build together. That's me putting up the post and the links in there. A camp is a wonderful answer that Lion Fire put up there. Heavenly host is the answer. That's right. Church is the answer. And some weirdo put TAZATHYATH in here. Whoever it is, I'm going to have to kick him out the room. Hey, chill out, Hey, shalom. Hey, shalom. You're in Columbus. I was hoping to be able to invite you to Dayton, man. I think you're in Columbus, but I was hoping to invite you in Dayton. If we could, all right. If possible, you know, come keep the Shabbat with the mashpacha. We got some beautiful sevens up in the room. All praise the Most High. And then we got that Ezekiel 49:10. If a prophet is deceived, know that the Most High has deceived him. All right. So the Most High deceived Balaam, the warlock. And if you see Israelites going off in Israel, it's like, where the heck did you get that from? You must be deceived of the Most High, brother. All right. Now, Ava, some beautiful laughter up in there. All right. They're gods. Right. Both, because some of them of the 7 nations weren't supposed. Yeah, we weren't supposed to deal with. I agree. 1200%. I agree. And some good LOLs. Okay. So all praise the Most High. That what we just did, of course, as you all know, is called madrash. So we read the scriptures and then we have a madrash. If no one has anything else that they want to present, or that they want to say or show, you know, we're gonna go ahead and finish up this week's Torah portion reading unto the law. We're gonna go to the book of Numbers chapter 22. We're gonna go to Numbers chapter 22. 23. Numbers chapter 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so now we're gonna go to 23, and we'll have 3 other chapters left. So I'll wait. If anybody has anything that they want to post, say, bring out, please. This is an open forum. Okay. And to the daughters of Israel, as long as you have permission from your husbands or from your fathers, you have permission to speak. If you don't have a husband or a father, you are openly permitted to speak in this class. All right. And then we'll get back to the Torah portion of reading. All right. So I'll wait a second. All right. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Racist whites in New York won't let children pass through on bikes. There we go. The YHWH. Okay. I'm going to play a video. I just found it. And I found it last week, and I wanted to share it when we were doing last week's Torah portion, where we showed where we read how Esau and Edom and Ammon did not want us to pass through their providence. They didn't want us to pass through their neighborhood, their community. And they do the same thing to us today, even to the point of racial profiling us. That's what we just read about. We just read about, listen, there's nothing new under the sun. There's an author, his name is Tertullian. Tertullian, I think that's his name. I gotta go back and double check. I'm an avid reader when it comes to our history. You know, somebody could be like, hey, go get the book of the Gospel of Peace. I'll be like, no, thank you. But I will get this history book, and I'll look into that. You know, I'm really big on looking at our history. So long story short, Tertullian, what he did was he showed how we were mistreated even in the Roman court system. And the same things that they did to us in the Roman court systems back then are the same things that they do to us in the Roman court systems today. They don't give us fair trials. They racial profile us. Now it's going to get harder for Israel, especially in lieu or in sight of the recent shooting, okay, that just happened with the Israelite brother, you know, and the cop that just happened, I believe, down in Florida. It is going to get harder for us, but we also have to expect these things, okay? So we have to expect these things, but it's nothing new under the sun, and we've seen Esau and other nations be against us just in passing through their communities for a long time, okay? So let's see what we got here. We got Na'avah. It's been lots of chariot sightings going on, all praises. All right, there's been lots of chariot sightings going on, all praises, and I 1200% agree with you. There has been tons of chariot sightings, you know, and it's to the point to where the American government, they were supposed to do a report, and they were supposed to report either last month or this month, and I was waiting for it. I was watching news, like I want to see what the government say, because Congress told them that they have to release information that they know about. I'm like, oh, I want to see this, because I believe in chariots. I've seen chariots. I have seen chariots. Like I don't have not an airplane, but sometimes it do be airplanes, and I'll be like, hey, yeah, never mind. But there are other times I was like, yo, that's just a straight up chariot. So I believe in the chariots of the Most High. We are seeing them. All praise the Most High. We will be going home soon. This captivity is almost over. I'm going to play a video clip, and from this video clip, we're going to see the exact same thing. They can't hide it no more. You're right. You're right. They can't hide it. They can't hide it no more. The information's out there. You know, they can't. And then they weren't hiding it anyways. They were just blatantly lying. You know, we knew it. You know, the world knew it. You know. Now they can't lie about it no more. Right. All right. So let me start screen share and pray, y'all. Pray this thing don't crash. Okay. Again, I'm working off of a very small Chromebook. Is done a great job doing his job, helping with the ministry, you know, and at the same time, as we increase, you know, I got to get better tools. All right. But right now, this is what we have. So I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to share this link with you all. If you've never seen this, some of you may have seen it. So, you know, you don't have to be like, oh, yeah, I already seen that. I already know about that, brother. Just you can share this information. This goes perfectly with last week's Torah portion and with this week's Torah portion. It happened in Rosedale, Queens. Okay, Rosedale, Queens in the 1970s. And some of you were alive at this time. All right. Let's see the demeanor of Esau back then. And now let's watch this. This is about 8 minutes.
We had called them bike hikes. We were just going out to go explore your world.
It would be at least 6, 7, 8 of us. Our parents said as long as you were home before the streetlights came on, you stayed as a group, you're fine.
It was a beautiful day, sunshine. The children in the neighborhood planned to go on a trip to McDonald's. Just have some fun, something different to do.
Rosedale, we thought was a safe place. We all went down, we were riding our bikes.
And then we saw down the block that there was this beautiful American flag blowing in the wind.
We saw a group outside on the block, so we thought, oh, this is a block party.
The last thing that I remember was someone saying, oh, a parade. And so we went down to go see the parade. And I laugh about it to this day because it was a parade to get the black people out of Rosedale.
It's the summer of 1975. White residents in Rosedale, Queens are protesting black families moving into the neighborhood. These are scenes from a documentary produced by journalist Bill Moyers.
Does he have a right to live here? No. Why not? Because he's black.
This was not the South. This was not Greenville, Mississippi, or Spartanburg, South Carolina, or Atlanta, Georgia. This was right in the heart of the greatest metropolitan area in the country.
The documentary was found nearly 45 years later by a graduate student who posted a short clip on the internet. It went viral on Twitter and Facebook. And a question people kept asking, where are the kids now?
Hey, Rob, this is Whitney Hurst calling from the New York Times. My name is Whitney Hurst. I'm a journalist.
To answer that question, we called more than 90 people who had lived in Rosedale at that time.
I was trying to find anyone that might have known someone.
We couldn't find any white residents who said they'd been there. But we spoke with several of the black children. We wanted to hear what happened to them that day, to understand why their experience is resonating decades later.
We went down to see what was going on, probably in the middle of the blocks. That's when we figured out it was something else. And it was something that we definitely were not invited to.
We noticed that they were running towards us. I was like, wow. Like, why are they rushing towards us, not thinking anything negative? And then we heard, nigger.
They surrounded my best friend at the time, Marina. One of the young men hit her. They started calling us names. They started throwing rocks.
Hearing the word, hearing it directed at me, why are you calling me that? That's not me. I've always been told that's not me. I didn't understand. I was like, who do you think you are to say we can't come here? Like, how dare you?
What happened to you?
This little boy, he threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I was sure where she had. He hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right in his face.
I was just kind of amazed to see that people can act like that, to tell you the truth. But that was like really the first where I was like, wow, people do not like black people.
They will always do that. They always sit on us like we some dogs. They always put it back on us. Ain't nothing but a shame.
I immediately was reminded of those programs my parents would have me watch with the dogs and the hoses and people trying to vote and being killed and lynched. It went right back to my history in this country. It just linked me immediately with that whole experience because I felt it.
Do you forgive them?
No. Can't take back no hurt.
And I didn't know what to do with those feelings. I did not know what to do with those feelings.
For Moyers, the video going viral shows how powerful images can be.
I do believe that television has been a great teacher. This country didn't really respond to what was going on in the South, although it was well known, until the sheriff in Birmingham turned the water hoses and the dogs on those young people who were demonstrating there. We knew about it. We heard about it. We were aware of it, but we didn't see it. We couldn't escape it once we saw it.
We filmed at Rosedale. A group of blacks from South Jamaica was coming through the neighborhood in a demonstration of support.
Every time a group of blacks get together, they want to help Rosedale with their problems. We don't need any outsiders helping us with our problems. And we'll say what, period.
All right, so guys, this next scene is very disturbing. All right, it's the one I was telling you about yesterday. I started a sociology elective in 2004-2005 school year, and my supervisor at the time, he said, come up with something that's close to home that maybe you can relate to today. I grew up in Rosedale, and I said, I want to do a unit on race in America. And that Rosedale video, they've been showing it for 15 years now. Giving it to the kids and say, what do you think?
I've never seen racism on camera. That was full on racism and just bullying.
I'm glad that I saw it because it needs to be seen. I feel like everyone should see this.
I think it's come back up because of the fact that we're going back, kind of.
Racism is still alive. It's still poisoning other minds.
This is how it was back then. Let's not repeat it again.
Emotionally, I think it's connecting with kids more today. This generation is that I generation. They can see it in a 10-second span, make a connection to it. The kids are never going to forget that. They can't unsee it. And it's going to be with them forever.
Rosia, it's turned predominantly black now, so we're welcome there now. That day, the American flag was the image, the symbol that pulled us into that situation. We live in America. The American flag means good things. It means that we can go where we want to go. We can ride our bike down any street in America. But it really represented a symbol of do not enter. So they took that beautiful image and turned it into something ugly for me. And I want the flag back.
All right, everybody. So that's that video right there. Share your thoughts on it, Baba Shah. I know the majority of you probably seen that. I actually I got the full clip of that, the full movie, and I believe it's around the 47-minute mark where it shows the Gentile children rushing at the little Israelites, and all that foolery. So this is the same demeanor, the same behavior that we see today that the Gentiles did against us in the times past, which is why we can go to the scriptures. And this sister right here, man, that really, I ain't gonna stunt, that really hurt my heart, man, to see how they was throwing rock. You could see the rocks flying at her, and the little Gentile boys stand in her face. Yeah, nigger. That little boy, you probably chief of police somewhere now, man. But it really shows you, the same mentality that their forefathers had back then. No, Esau would not let us pass through their land. I'm like, yo, this ain't nothing changed. Like nothing's changed. Esau would not let us pass through their land then, and then even today, have issues wanting to let Israel, live in peace or go through our lands or go through their lands or whatever, So gentrification is a real thing, Esau coming in, just blending everything together, taking everything that belongs to us, kind of owning it for themselves. And then after that, making your neighborhood theirs and then moving us out. So I yield the floor on that. We can see again that exact same example. All right. I believe Rashwan, if you're still on here, or Amath, if you're still on here. I don't know if Kanai or YHWH is on here, but I did share this video, the entire video. All right. And it's worth watching. It's very much worth watching. It shows you the mentality of it shows you the mentality of our oppressors. So Rashwan, Amath, Kanai, YHWH, if any of you are watching, which all four of you should, every one of my household should be tuned in, chimed in. Can you copy paste that link to the entire video that I put inside of the group, and can you post it in here so YHWH can see it for themselves? All right. So Thawad, I appreciate you. And you're right. It's very upsetting. The scripture says, surely oppression maketh the wise man angry. This is what our grandmothers went through. This is what our grandfathers went through. Just some little big head, buck teeth, baby brews trying to ride their bike to McDonald's. Just, have a bike ride, and being harassed and called nigger, it's So it is very upsetting. It's very upsetting. Again, surely oppression maketh the wise man angry. So if you all have that video, can you please post it in the group so the rest of our mashpachai and the rest of our families, they can have not the video that we just watched, but the entire documentary. All right. All praise Yahweh. Please do go look. And I want everybody that's on here, once you see it, get it and make it your own. Let your Yaladium see it and then read the scriptures to them. All right. Read the scriptures to them. Numbers, start at chapter 21. You know, see how Yahweh delivered us, how we went to war with the other nations, and then see how the Gentiles just didn't want to even let us walk through their hood. It's racial profiling is real. All right. It doesn't look like there's any more on the Madrash or anybody wanting to bring anything out or anybody even wanting to talk about anything. So we're going to continue with this week's Torah portion reading. We're going to move forward to the book of Numbers, chapter 23. Now, I pray that all of you still have the strength and the ability. You're at home or you're on your phone, your laptop. It ain't like you can't walk to the kitchen with your cell phone, you know, and stay in class. All right. You don't have to log out. This ministry is being done for you. Okay. All right. And if if you're somewhere and you know somebody needs to hear this word, you know, it's free. So you can play it for them. Okay. So let's get back to this real quick. And Baba Kusha Khan Halaya Aliyah Shabbat. Glad you're still here. All praise. All right. I don't see our other Akwatian, but they might be holding class right now. So let's go ahead and go forward. We're going to start our screen share and we see what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the witch Balaam, the warlock Balaam. All right. So let's move forward. All right. If everybody ready to go, put a snevin up in here. Put a 7 in the room if you're ready to get this good word. Learn about your history. All right. Learn why no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It's not just a phrase. It's a real thing that Yahweh said. And watch this, y'all. Watch this. When Balaam realized, I'm about to turn up in a minute again. When Balaam realized that I can't do nothing against these people, he bugged out. He lost his mind. He was like, oh. Really, he did. He did. We're going to read that. All right, so let's get some 7s up in this room before we get started reading. All praise, all praise. Lion Fire, so happy to see you. Na'avah, Thuad, appreciate that. All praise, all praise. Only need one more snapping up in this room. The scripture says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. All right, so let me get one more witness and we'll get it cracking. So all praise, Aliyah Shabbat, Yahweh Shemar, Latah, Kahalalaya. Well, let's get it crack-a-lacking. It's my joy to read to you. All right, it's a blessing to be in ministry with you all. It's a blessing to be alive with you all today, okay? All right, so let's get it. So Numbers chapter 23 and verse 1, and it reads, and Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars and prepare me 7 oxen and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and a ram. All right. So again, the way that Yahweh knew, the way that here goes something else. You Negroes can't say that offerings and sacrifices weren't done. All right. We're right here in the book of Numbers and we see offerings and sacrifices. Unless you're going to tell me that the lion pen of the scribe, which that's a catchphrase. Okay. When you hear brothers repeat over and over and over and over, the lion pen of the scribes, the lion pen of the scribes, the lion pen of the scribes, they're saying that to try to persuade you. It's a form of witchcraft. I'm going to keep it all the way 1200 with you. If I repeat something over and over and over, I can get you to believe it. Anybody can do it. You just like your daddy. You just like your dad. You is just like your dad. Well, you know you just like your daddy. You just like your daddy. Listen, all you got to do is repeat something over and over. And it's a form of witchcraft. Please don't fall for the Jedi mind tricks. Balaam and Balak were right here. Every book in the Bible that mentions offerings or sacrifices, this means all of these books would have to be taken out if the fact of the matter, if the Most High didn't require offerings, all right? But he did. What Israel did wrong was Israel gave pointless, meaningless apologies. And the Most High was like, look, I don't want those. Balaam, which was very sincere in his efforts to try to curse us, him and the Moabite king, Balak, all right? They gave offerings, 7 altars, 2 offerings on each one is what we see for now. We might get more details in Josephus. And it reads, verse 3, Numbers chapter 23, verse 3. And Balaam said unto Balak, stand by thy burnt offering, and I will go. Preadventure, Yahweh will come to meet me. And whatsoever he showeth me, I will tell thee. And he went to an high place. And Alahiah met Balaam. Y'all see that? So this is a game changer scripture right here. Listen, the man was a Gentile, and he knew how to access the Creator. All right. Is he the God of Israel only? Is he not the God of the whole world? All right. So, and Alahiah met Balaam, and he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. And Yahweh put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, return unto Balak, and thus thou shalt speak. Now remember, Balaam was hired to curse us. And then the Most High said, don't go. Balaam, he got offered more shekels the next time. So he was like, look, I really want to go with these fellow men of mine. And the second time, the Most High was like, all right, bet, go with them. But whatever I tell you, that's what you got to say. Right? Let's see. Verse 6. And he returned unto him and stood by his burnt sacrifice and all the princes of Moab. And he took up this parable. So now Balaam is finally about to speak. And he said, Balak, king of Moab, hath brought me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east. All right. This is very important to know also. The Most High brought Balaam out of Aram, out of the mountains of the east. I'm going to copy and save that because that also gives context clues to what his nation was. Saying, come, curse me, Jacob, and defy Israel. How shall I curse whom Yahweh hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy whom Yahweh hath not defied? Let me read this verse again, because if you read this in Hebrew, it says 2 contextually different things. This right here, God, and this right here, all capital Lord, are 2 different entities. This is the Most High power. This is the Son. This is the Alahiah. This is YHWH. In case you didn't know, YHWH is all throughout the Old Testament. Sometimes he goes by the angel of the Lord. Sometimes he goes by capital G, lowercase o, lowercase d. Allah, Alahiah, Alahayam, Alahayanawa, Alahayaka, Alahaya. And then you have all capitals, which is Yahweh. So he says what? Let's read that in context. How shall I curse who Allah, Alahiah, hath not cursed? How shall I defy whom Yahweh hath not defied? Remember, YHWH answers to Yahweh. This is Big Boss Daddy Mac Supreme. That's King of Kings. That's the master. And he gave all authority, honor, and glory to his son, YHWH. Verse 9. From the top of the rock, I see him. And from the hills, I behold him. Lo, a people shall dwell alone and shall not be reckoned amongst the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the 4th part of Yasharallah? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last be like his. Balaam, in case y'all didn't catch this, just said the most beautiful blessing over us. Verse 9 and verse 10. Let's read that again. I want y'all to see. Balaam just said the most beautiful blessing over us. Balaam said, from the top of the rocks, I see him. In other words, we will be exalted into a high place. From the hills, I behold him. From the highest place, he will see us. Now, I can prove that by reading the book of, let's go to it. I'm going to go to it up here. We're going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 13, KJV. No internet connection. 2nd Esdras chapter 13, KJV. Now, if you haven't read this, I encourage you, men of Israel, women of Israel, read this to your children for a bedtime story. All right, this is the coming of YHWH HaMashiach. To me, it's terrifying. All right, because it's literally prophesied what's going to happen when Christ comes back. And this ain't even as bad as, I mean, the real event is going to be way worse than what we can ever read. Verse 1, 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and it reads, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that moved all the ways thereof. And behold, and lo, a man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So Aquas, now Avar, there go your chariots right there. Okay, here go your chariots in verse 3. And behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Verse 5. And after this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number of the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he graven himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place wherein the hill was graven, and I could not. You see that? So after YHWH comes back, it's going to be great destruction. He's also going to make a new place for us to go to. Hold on, let's hold that thought real quick. He's going to make a new place for us to go to. 2nd Ezra chapter 7, KJV. Second Ezra chapter 7, KJV.
According to
no, thank you, Gentile assistant. Be quiet. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 5. Let's start there. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Verse 6. There's also another thing. A city is built and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. And the entrance thereof is narrow, and it's set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there was fire on the right hand, and on the left deep water, and only one path between them both. And the water, the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man go there at once. If now this city was given unto a man as inheritance, if he shall never pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? You see that? Let's go one verse back. So there's a city that's built. This city is New Jerusalem, and this city is going to be a place for you, Israel. All right. This city is going to be a place for us to go to. It's going to be our home. We're going to be able to live there forever and ever and ever, and no little white boys will ever be able to stand in front of us and say, go home, nigger. Get out of here, nigger. Yeah, you can't come this way, nigger. They can have Rosedale. We get the world. Hallelujah wa aman. They can have America, Babylon. They gentrifying and taking everything everywhere. They can have it. The Most High says we get the world. Watch this, verse 5. Verse, Verse 3. And I said, speak on, my Allahia. Then he said unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be a deep and great, But put the case of the interest were narrow like a river. Who could then go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There's another thing, verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is built and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. You see this? So Balaam is prophesying correctly. We're now reading out of the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7. You can start at verse 1. Before then, we read out of 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Okay. Second Ezra chapter 13 was the second place that we read from. And in both of them, we see that there will be a new place, which will be set on top of a high hill, which is New Jerusalem. All right. So verse 9, he says, from atop of the rocks, I see him. From the hills, I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone. This means we will not be bothered. This means it will be for Israelites only. A big old sign for Israelites only. It's going to be whites that way. If any of them survive. Israelites only. Water fountains. Streets made of pure transparent gold. I'm not arguing with certain people because I got a place I'm trying to get to. I don't care about your foolery that you're going through right now. I don't care because you're not going to bring me into it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach my destination. Now I'll listen, I'll monitor, I'll observe, I'll learn, I'll I was about to say minotaur. That's like a Greek mythology bull. I'll mentor. But will I give myself over to my passions and be upset like other people? I will not, because I'm trying to get to this new destination. I've already been there. I spent too many years of my life, you know, in the wrong state of mind. See, the Most High said the people, well, the Most High through the mouth of Balaam, the prophet, said the people shall dwell alone and they shall not be reckoned among the nations. Look at what else Balaam said. Who can count the dust of Jacob? Nobody is the answer. Who can number the fourth part of Israel? Nobody is the answer. Then he says about himself, he says, let me die the death of the righteous and let my last end be like those Negroes. You can't beat this. You can't make this up. You can't touch this. So you can't make this stuff up. The prophet Balaam straight up blessed us. Watch this. And Balak said unto Balaam, what hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse my enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them all together. Wait a minute. I hired you to curse them, and you come here blessing them? This is the best. When I tell y'all, Balaam is one of my favorite characters. He was a real person. He was a real entity. And the Most High used him. What they thought would be for our bad, the Most High made for our good. Verse 12, and he answered and said, must I not take heed to speak that which Yahweh has put in my mouth? And Balaam said unto him, come, I pray thee, with me to another place. From thence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the uttermost parts. Balak. Verse 13 again. And Balak said unto him, come, I'm begging you, I pray thee, with me to another place. From whence thou mayest see him. Thou shalt see the utmost parts of him, and shall not see them all, and curse me them from thence. And he brought them to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, an altar of bullock and a ram on every altar. Verse 15. And he said unto Balak, stand here by thy offering while I meet Yahweh yonder. And Yahweh met Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go again to Balak and say thus. Verse 17. And he came unto him and stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what hath Yahweh spoken? Verse 18. And he took up this parable. And he took up this parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. Elohim is not a man that he should lie. So the same thing that he said last time is the same thing that he said he's going to do all together. I was about to say the next time, but all together. Elohim is not a man that he shall lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and he shall not do it? Hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. And he hath not beheld iniquity. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. Yahweh, his Elohim, is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. Allah brought them out of Matazadium. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath Allah wrought? What has the Most High done? We can't curse these niggas. We can't curse them. We can't murder them by abortion. We can't cook them out of existence with crack. We can't spray enough pesticides over the so-called Mexicans' heads while they're working in the fruit plantations and fields. We can't make these North American Indians walk all the way across and die them out and starve them out. We can't even put them in institutions, North American Indians. Salute to my Gadite and Reubenite and, you know, my Northern Kingdom brethren. We can't even put them in institutions and make them die like that. Man, we tried to get them blankets that had biological warfare called smallpox on it. Smallpox is terrible. Smallpox, you get boils from everywhere to the bottom. You ever had one of them cracks, like your feet be real dry, and you have what I've had it. Like if I don't put Vaseline and socks on my feet, I am finished. So I gotta put Vaseline on my feet. Like my Bon Lamadi, I said, my feet was a car, but Lamadi. The boy with him, I said, my feet be dry. See, our feet get dry. If I don't put Vaseline and socks on my feet, by the time I'm done, especially in the wintertime, I get them crack. I get like, ooh, feel like them little razor slit cracks. And I can't hardly open my toe. Man. That is nothing in comparison to the Gadite babies who died of starvation and frostbite during the Trail of Tears. That's nothing in comparison to the Gadites, North American Indians, who were hung from trees. The scripture says, cursed are all they who hangeth upon a tree. That's a sign. The scripture says what? The Most High will lead us into Egypt again in ships. The North American Indians and the so-called Mexicans were both led into slavery on boats. I don't need a 12 tribes chart. I read the prophecies and then I look at the people. I go to the places. I meet the people. Don't come to me about the 12 tribes chart. Do I subscribe to the chart? I subscribe to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 33 and Genesis chapter 49. If these people fit, they fit. Do we have family members and friends that are in slavery in Africa? Absolutely, still to this day on the continent. My point in saying all that is to say this, you know, there's nothing that they could have done to wipe us out. Crack epidemic, gangs turn us against each other. You know, if you can think of it, they did it. And they're doing it now. Coronavirus and all of this stuff, this is only another wave of them trying to exterminate, population control, bring the Israelites down. But they can't. We don't die, we multiply. All right. We's babies, kids. All right. We don't die, we multiply. Let's look at this word divination. There's not a witchcraft that can work against us. And Yahweh did this way back in the day. What has the Most High wrought? What has the Most High done that you can't kill these niggas? You can't exterminate them. The Gadites, the North American Indians, when they were in slavery, Khwasam, Khwa. That's the Kwap, that's the Samak, and that's the Mayam, Khwasam. All right, Khwasam sounds like curses, don't it? Curses, Khwasam. Qasam, the Most High called Qasam divination. He called it witchcraft, divine sentence, divination, witchcraft. Look at this. Of the nations, Balaam. The name Qasam or curses go right back to Balaam, of false prophets. In the good sense, the king's lips, oracles. Okay, Qasam. All right. Let's do enchantment. Let's see what enchantment is. Okay. I'm going to do one more and we'll get back to this. So there's no nation. And look, this is something else. You Israelites, man, y'all got to be careful, man. Like, I got to be careful too. All right. So again, witches are real. Warlocks are real. You know, I don't really watch a lot of shows. I like zombie shows. I'm like, free shot. I like the slow moving zombies. I don't like the zombies that got unlimited stamina and cardio. Nobody. No, thank you. I don't know what I would do in one of those situations, but one of the ones where it's the slow moving zombies, they just like, they don't know how to operate doorknobs and stuff. You know, they get trapped in the shower curtain. Like, those are the ones I'm up for. You know, the fast moving ones, you know. All right, so you know, but so I'll watch movies and, you know, I play games, video, Resident Evil, zombies and stuff in them. But when it comes to stuff that has witchcraft and spells in it, I turn my TV off. I'll change the channel quick. You know why? Because on a lot of those shows, they are actually saying spells. All right, they're saying spells on a lot of these movies, a lot of these shows. You know, there's even shows to where they're actually using Hebrew characters. All right. Dictionary.com. I want to see the actual word for divination. I should have went to etymology. Online etymology is my favorite. All right, etymology.com. All right. Dictionary.com and etymology online are my two favorites. And I you know what? And I'm getting ahead of myself. I got too many windows opening up. I can see it struggling, barely working. All right, so let me slow down. All right, I'm going to stop right there. And the reason being is because I'm trying to open up too many windows at one time. So let's get back to this real quick. So when you get a chance, look up the definition of divination and look up the definition of enchantment. Okay. Yahweh says what? He says, and I want y'all to remember this for your own households. All right. Numbers chapter 23, verse 23. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob. Neither is there any divination against Israel. So when you think you got ghosts and ghouls and witches and warlocks and somebody trying to cast a curse or spell on you, remember this verse right here. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Remember that. Numbers chapter 23, 23. There is no enchantment against Jacob. Neither is there any divination against Israel. You can't put no curse on me. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what have Elohim wrought? What has the Most High did? Verse 24, behold, the people shall rise up as a great nation and lift up himself as a young lion. Like we got our brother Lion on here, right? Shall lift up as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said to Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. He said, hey man, just stop talking. Don't say nothing about these people no more. Just don't curse them. Don't bless them. Don't say nothing. This is one of my favorite stories. And it reminds me of like a Japanese anime. Like in my head, that's how I see this story playing out. Like a Japanese anime, you know. Verse 26. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I thee, saying, all Yahweh spaketh, that must I do? That I must do? You know what he said right here? He said, didn't I say unto you, call our Shadad, the body of Yahweh, not Aisha, not Shemai? Isn't that interesting for all my Israelite family members who know our saying? See, he says right here, all that Yahweh spaketh, that I must do. Call our Shadad, the body of Yahweh, not Aisha, not Shemai. Isn't that interesting? Verse 27. And Balak said unto Balaam, come, I pray thee, I will bring thee into another place, and peradventure it will please Elohim that thou mayest curse me them from thence. And Balak brought Balaam unto the top of Peor that looked toward Jeshimon. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars and prepare here 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered bullock and a ram on every altar. Please, family members, friends, guests, repeat after me. Challah Shara, the body of Yahweh, Na'isha, wa na Shemai. All that Yahweh has said, will we do and hear. Hallelujah. This is verse chapter 24, and this week's Torah portion stops at chapter 25. Chapter 25. Now, check this out. Let me ask you, Israel. Don't y'all think that at this time, Balaam, well, first of all, Balaam, he's just getting paid, so he don't even care no more. He's just getting paid. He's prophesying for us. It started out it was going to be against us. Now he's just prophesying for us, and he see the good stuff that's going to happen to us. And he's like, yo, look, let me die like these Israelites, okay? let me die like these Israelites, all right? So he started prophesying, trying to prophesy against us. Now he's prophesying for us. Isn't that beautiful? And did y'all hear the things that was said about us? We will inhabit the high places. We will be left alone. Ain't nobody going to be able to bother us. We're not going to be like the other nations. Did you hear the beautiful things that were said about us? This week's Torah portion is amazing. This week's Torah portion is amazing. And it's all about you, Israel. So even though it has one of my favorite characters, which is Balaam, all right, Balaam the warlock. It's all about you and the good things that Yahweh is going to do for us. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to be finishing this week's Torah portion. Now, it seems like Balak would have been like, hey, man, don't curse them and don't bless them. Don't say nothing else at all. Matter of fact, just go home. It seems like that would have been the case, but it wasn't the case. All right. The case was Balak was so thirsty. He was so starving to try to curse us that he did what? He was like, okay, let's try one more time. All right. So let's see what that one more time is like. This is going to be the second to last chapter. And then we'll be finishing this week's Torah portion. I salute everybody that has had the tenacity to stay on and to build with us. All right. We're finishing up this week's Torah portion, starting with the book of Numbers, chapter 24 and verse 1. And when Balaam saw that it pleased Yahweh to bless Israel. So now Balaam like, wait a minute. The Most High likes blessing them. He went not as other times to seek or enchantments, but he set his face towards the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel abiding in his tents according to their tribes. And the spirit of Alahiah came upon him. Y'all see that? This is happening to a Gentile man. See? So you got to be careful with what you just be repeating other people say. Yahweh don't be dealing with Gentiles. Yahweh ain't dealing with Gentiles. I've heard it. I've even said it. Then I read this and I was like, well, I guess sometimes he does. All right. So watch this. So Balaam, he's seen that it pleased the Most High to bless us. So he didn't go and try to do enchantments this time. This time he just turned towards Israel. And he just spaced out, just wow. And he started prophesying with his eyes open. Watch this. Now, try to imagine this in your own head. Use your imagination when we read this. Watch this big old blessing that Balaam, the warlock, is going to say out of his mouth. Watch this. Verse 2. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw an angel abiding in his tents. Excuse me. He saw Israel abiding in his tents according to their tribes. And the spirit of Alahiah came upon him. And he took up this parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, the man whose eyes were opened, hath said. He hath said, which heard the words of Alahiah, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but with his eyes open. How goodly are the tents of Ya'iquab and the tabernacles of Yasha'Allah, as the valleys are spread forth, as the gardens by the riverside, as the trees of line aloes, which Yahweh hath planted, and as the cedars beside the waters. Hold that thought right there. Come on, laptop, you're moving slower than me. Psalms chapter 1, KJV. Man, this laptop, man, I ain't mad about it. I don't like having to slow down. Come on, man. Let's get it. Psalms chapter 1, KJV. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of Yahweh, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in season. His leaf shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. You see that? So Yahweh says that if we be righteous, we will be like the trees that are planted by the waters. What happens to a tree that's planted by the water? Does it grow or does it die? Is it fed or is it starved? Any tree that's planted by the waters grows. It has a constant stream of hydration. It has a constant stream of life. And the Most High, through the mouth of Balaam, he said that we would be like that. All right. I'll get back to the comments. I encourage everybody to communicate and build with each other. Verse 6, as the valleys are spread forth, as the gardens by the riverside, as the trees of line aloe, which Yahweh hath planted, as the cedar trees besides the waters, he shall pour the waters out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. Allah brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies. He shall break their bones and pierce them through with arrows. He crouched, he layeth down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam. Hallelujah. I got you, Balak. This is one of my favorites. Oh, man, this is one of my favorites, man. So Balaam, the warlock, couldn't do nothing but bless us. Out of the mouth of Yahweh, he spoke into Balaam, and Balaam just was dropping them like boom, boom. And Israel gonna do this, and Israel gonna be that, and he gonna have 10, and he gonna be like a lion, and his enemies gonna be destroyed. That boy Balak, like, man, let's read on. And all right, verse 10. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. Therefore now flee thou to thy place. He said, get Chup out of here. Get up out of here. Get Chup out of here. All right. He said, therefore now flee unto thy place. I thought to promote thee to great honor, but lo, Yahweh hath kept thee back from honor. And Balaam said to Balak, spake I not also to thy messengers? He said, did not tell you? Did not tell the ones that you sent? Spake not also to thy messengers which thou sentest unto me, saying, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of Yahweh to do either good or bad of my own mind, but what Yahweh saith, that will I speak. Verse 14, and now behold, I go into my people. Therefore, come therefore, and I will advise thee what this people shall do to thy people in latter days. So check this out. So now it's time for Balaam to leave. It's time for him to go now. That man's finished. His job, your job here is done, sir. Your services are no longer needed, sir. All right. That man told him, go home. You are finished. We don't need you anymore. Now let's see what happens. Now, this is where it gets to the parts where I don't like Balaam. All right. I already got it, but this is where I don't like Balaam. And this is where you're going to have to tune in tomorrow, the Most High's will, And I'm going to read to you out of Antiquities what Balaam's advice to Balak was. Okay, I won't be able to read it to you now because we're going to have to go into other apocryphal books, which are going to take up more time. But I do have the books ready, and we do have the information ready. I do want to read the Torah portion with you. Israel has a very short attention span, a very short attention span. I've seen the numbers go up, and I've seen the numbers go down. But for right now, I want to read the word to you. If you want to get the rest of the message tomorrow, the Most High's will, in Baba Kusha Aisha, please do tune in. And I'm going to show you what Balaam's advice to Balak was, and Balak has been doing it, and the other nations have been doing it ever since. They used their daughters, their women, and they just destroyed us. Balaam's advice was so smooth, it just never stopped working against us. All right, let's finish this up. Verse 14, and now, behold, I go unto my people. Come, therefore, and I will advise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. And he took up this parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of Allahiah and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw in a vision falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall arise out of Israel. Who do y'all think that star is? Everybody give an answer. Who is that star out of Jacob? Who is that scepter that shall arise out of Israel? Who is that? And shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy the children of Sheth. I'm going to copy this because I wanted to find out earlier who are the children of Sheth. I don't know who the Shethites are. All right, that'll give us an even much better clue to who this future prophecy is going towards. Verse 18, and Edom shall be a what? Edom shall be a possession, and Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. This scripture right here lets you know that all of the Edomites are not going to die. All of the Edomites are going to die. Everybody else, the Edomites, is going to die. There are going to be no Edomites left. Yes, it will. Edomites will survive. Some. Edom shall survive. Some. Otherwise, how can they be paid back for their wickedness? Otherwise, how can he that leadeth in the captivity shall go into captivity? See, Edom is going to be destroyed as a nation, as a rulership, as a world power. Edom is going to be destroyed. They're going to be brought down very low, just like Israel was brought down very low. And they're going to have to serve. So remember Numbers chapter 24, verse 18, whenever somebody says, ain't no Edomites going to be alive. All the Edomites going to die. But all the Edomites going to be dead. Listen, man, that's not true. They have to serve out their punishment, just like we had to serve out their punishment. And wiping them all the way out, it's not what the Most High said. Again, if we know he that leads in the captivity shall go into captivity, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. If we know that, we should also know, and Edom shall be a possession, and Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Keep that in mind. Out of Jacob there shall come, Numbers chapter 24, verse 19, out of Jacob shall come he that have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he shall perish forever. So who's going to perish forever? Amalek. Oy vey. Numbers chapter 24, verse 21. And he looked on the Canaanites and took up this parable and said, strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in the rock. Verse 22. Nevertheless, the Canaanite shall be wasted until Asher shall carry thee away captive. Verse 23. And he took this parable and said, alas, who shall live when Allahiah doeth this? And the ships shall come from the coast of Chidon, and shall afflict Ashar, and shall afflict Eber, and he shall perish forever. And Balaam arose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak went his way. Repeat after me. Kala Shara, the body of Yahweh, Na'isha, Wana Shemai. All that Yahweh has said, will we do and hear. All praise the Most High. I can actually hear you. Just to let you know, I can spiritually hear you when you say that. You know, a lot of you, I know the tone of your voice, so I can hear you when you say it. So what you're saying, of course, is all that the Most High has said, what we doing here. There's nothing wrong with saying that. If Yahweh said, you know, to keep his commandments, let's keep his commandments. Let's hear them and let's do them. All right. Numbers chapter 25. This chapter is going to stop at verse 29. It's going to be the end of this week's Torah portion for the law portion. Now, remember, once we finish the law portion, I encourage you at home on your own, study the prophecy portion and study the gospel portion. If you need help, you can contact me. You can reach me. My math is 614-999-2677. I am a public servant of YHWH, the government of Israel. I am your servant. Okay, so you can contact me. You can reach me, and I will help you with these scriptures. I'll read them with you. If it's something that I don't understand, we can, you know, come now. Let us reason together. Okay, we can reason these together. All right, so let's read and finish this up. This is the last chapter of this week's Torah portion pertaining to the law. The book of Numbers, chapter 25, verse 1. And YHWH abode in Shittim, and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Oh, no. Oh, no. Do you see how the story skips? You see how the story goes from Balaam says, let me advise you about these people, and I'm also going to tell you what they're going to do to you in the last days. And then Balaam prophesies what Israel is going to do against the other nations. And then all of a sudden the story skips to chapter 25, and it says, and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people begin to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Wait a minute. Where did that come from? 1 minute, the king of Moab is trying to curse us, and next minute, we having sex with their daughters. Where did that even come from? I'll show you if you don't mind studying with me tomorrow. Numbers chapter 24, and it's very much well worth it. All right, very much well worth it. It's going to be a very good breakdown, the Most High as well. Numbers chapter 25 and verse 2. And they called the people together, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bow down to their false deities. This is where YHWH messed up. So we fell in love with the Moabite women, the Gentile women, and the Midianite women, all right? And in the process of doing so, once we fell in love with them, you know how women will take your children and then they'll try to have control over you emotionally. Well, that's what the Moabite women did to us, all right? And it's a very, very real thing, you know. So we see witchcraft all the way through here. You know, once they knew that we was in love with them, you know, they thought that they could just run over us, man. And they actually did. And some of these men led themselves to destruction. And I praise Yahweh, man. Today was a week for me where I had to just cut people off, be like, yo, I just can't allow you in my life no more. I got to block you. Why? Because, I mean, all I'm feeling is this consistent heartbreak, this consistent heart pain. I'm like, well, as I read the scripture, I'm like, well, man, I'm having witchcraft performed on me, you know? So with that being said, you know, shalom thou. Numbers chapter 25, verse 2, and it reads, and it says, and they called the people unto the sacrifice of their Allahim, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And YHWH joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Israel. And Yahweh said unto Mashah, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahweh against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahweh may be turned away from Israel. And Mashah said to the judges of YHWH, slay ye every one of the men who were joined to Baal Peor. Now, this is something that you might not have learned in Bible study. Yahweh said, kill all of these men, cut their heads off, and put their heads facing me. Don't tell me Yahweh didn't want you to kill a lamb, slaughter an animal, and Yahweh was slaying the children of Israel for disobedience. You Negroes sound stupid. Yahweh, he wants you to be nice to the animals. Jesus Christ is the savior of the animals. Worlds. But Yahweh just said right here to Mashah, he said, kill all these people that's worshiping Baal Peor and cut off their heads. And this ain't the only time he said to cut off heads. All right. Verse 5. And Mashah said to the judges of YHWH, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Mashah and in the sight of the congregation. And the children of Israel who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon, the priest, saw it. And he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through the belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. Verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. Wow, that's a lot of dead people. You old Peter, save the pets. Slaughter the people, save the pets, though. That don't even sound right. Verse 10. And Yahweh spake unto Mashah, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake amongst them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Therefore say, behold, I give him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seeds after him, even the covenant of the everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his Alahiah and made an atonement for the Eladim of Yashar'Allah. And now the name of this Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianite-ish woman, was Zimri, son of Salu, the prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. Verse 15. Then, and the name of the Midianite-ish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zer. He was the head over the people of the chief house of Midian. And Yahweh spake unto Mashah, saying, vex the Midianites and smite them. You see that? For they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Baal Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Beor's sake. Okay, hold on, let me see something. 19. I think that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. We got more to go. We got more to go. So the Most High said to what? To vex and to smite and to listen. You know what? I'll go into it. The Most High's will at the beginning of the week. The Most High did not tell us to. The Most High did not tell us to not harm animals, but told us to harm people. Okay. He has a purpose and a cause for everything. All right. If he desires or if he wants sacrifices, if he wants sacrifices, then it's up to us to give him the sacrifice he asked of us. Now, the Most High requires a sacrifice of us right now to be a broken spirit and a contrite heart. Yahweh wants us to do right. All right. If you give an apology, it's got to be a sincere apology. You know, don't just make a plate of food and throw it at me. All right. I'm probably not going to want to eat that. You know, I'm probably not going to eat it. And it's the same thing with the Most High, man. You know, we were giving him terrible, horrible sacrifices. My bad. I'm trying to put my shoes on, stay in the camera at the same time. So we were giving him horrible, pointless sacrifices. All right. And the Most High didn't want that. Okay, let's finish reading on. We're almost done. All right, 26 verse 1. And it came to pass after the plague that Yahweh spake unto Mashah and unto Eleazar, the son of Aharon, the priest, saying, take the sum of the congregation of the children of Israel from 29 years old upward throughout the father's house, and all of the people to go to war. And Mashah and Eleazar are the priests with them in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, take the sum of the people from 20 years old and upward, as Yahweh commanded, and the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt. You know what? I apologize. I do think that we're at the end of this week's Torah portion reading. I was going to go a little bit further, but I think it'd be best if I stopped right there. All right, so we're going to stop right there. Everybody repeat after me. Baba Kushah, please. Kala Shara, the body Yahweh, Na'aisha, Wana Shamai. All that Yahweh has said, will we do and hear. All praise the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. This concludes this week's Torah portion reading for the law section. Now, we still have the prophet section, which I encourage everybody to go through and read. If you have any trouble, any issues with it, you can hit me up. You can contact me. I will go through and read it with you, for you, to you, help you explain it. Tawada Rashwan for the link. Na'ava, I have you personally on my messenger so I can forward it to you. Or that's something else. Rashwan, I don't know if you two are connected on YouTube or Facebook, but I'll take care of it also. Sissy Rashwan, I don't see the link, beloved. All right. And says, okay, Tawada says, I'm going into my settings now to see what's going on. Oh, it sounds like work. All right. I don't see the link, beloved. YHWH. All right. Let me know if it pops up. Okay, Khan. Okay, Tawada. All right. And then whoever this is, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth his fruit in season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. And then we have this saying, you're welcome, beloved. I'm sending it to my bond and see if he can post it. I will also post it on the Facebook page. All right. Okay. Absolutely. Yahushai. I agree. Yahushai. Okay. So Khan Sissy, tag me in it. Raj, when I rob, Sissy. You guys are so sweet. Nova, YHWH. Yeah, hit's not working. Hit's not working for me. So I tagged you in the Facebook vid. So you could so kindly try to post it where would be helpful. It would be on this and how he has the comments set up. Okay, so these two sisters are just lovingly speaking to each other in the most wonderful way. I'm going to yield the floor on that. It looks like nobody else has anything else to say. Okay. All right. Okay. All praise. Okay. Well, that's it. That's it. We have completed the Torah portion reading. We read the law portion. We did not read the prophet portion. We did not read the gospel portion. So it's up to you in your own individual households to Baba Kusha. Please read the law portion, the prophet portion, and the gospel portion. All right. If the thing about the Torah portion is you have all week to go through it. All right. You have all week to study it. And if you don't have it, you can always hit me up. All right. Y'all know me, Isaiah YHWH. You can find me on Facebook, on YouTube. All right. I'm a public servant of the government of Israel. Mashallah YHWH. My number 614-999-2677. I'm probably your pastor's pastor to keep it 1200 with you. You know. Probably your pastor's pastor. Nah, but for real though, I probably taught you pastor. But Israel, man, I encourage you, man, watch out for witchcraft and watch out also for the blessings of the Most High. All right, love each other. The scripture says to Isaiah chapter 8, verse 20 says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak knowledge wise, it is because there is no light in them. All right, so keeping the Most High's law, statute, commandments, and believing in the testimony of Yahushai HaMashiach is key. Okay. So do we have to do sacrifices right now? No, we do not. Yahushai was the sacrificial lamb for us. Will we have to do sacrifices when Yahushai comes back? Absolutely. We will be doing sacrifices again. All right. And if you're not sure about that, just hit me up and I'll show you in the Bible. All right. Anyablakum, Yabrakam, Yabasham, Yahushai. It's the Pastor Rasha. All right. Anyablakum, y'all. I love you all. All right, I'm going to go and separate myself for now. And again, if you are in a Tama'ah state or if you are in an unclean state, make sure you do what you can to keep yourself separate. If you know, you don't want to vex anybody. So every situation is different. You don't want to vex anybody. You know, you above all don't want to vex the Most High. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go. All right, I'm going to go and study. I need help to come, man. I love you all, Israel. Tawada for spending time with me. Tawada for studying with me. Thank you for letting me study with you. All right. All right. I think that's it for me. All right. Oh, also, the Most High's will, or the TAZATHYATH Yahweh, we will be having the summit. The summit is coming up next month. All right. April the 6th through the 8th. All right. April the 6th through the 8th. All right. If you need any information, just check out the flyer. It's on my Facebook. Make it there. All right. TAZATHYATH Yahweh will be able to see each other, embrace each other, meet each other. All right. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Anyel LaChaa. Shalom LaChaa. Wa Kwam Yasher Allah. Anyel LaChaa. Shalom Yasher Allah. I had to come back over here. I forgot my books.